should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hello, everybody. Hio is here with us today. We are dual streaming, and we're going to talk about this girl from New York. And after we're done with that, we're going to go to her page, and we're going to react to some Sarah Boone stuff. It's good to see y'all. Content Angel, Hio, Edith, Cara, Queen Olive, Ruth Ann, good to see you. Matilda, Jenny Jen, Julie, Allie X, Bad Girl, Ava Slim, Hazel Eyes, Allie X again, good to see you. Good to see you.
Is Allie X here?
She was.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So you hear my voice since you and I talked this morning?
Yeah, what happened?
I choked on lunch.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Teresa.
And so I'm having a bit of a reaction, so hopefully it'll calm down through the stream.
Oh no.
That's okay.
If it doesn't get better, let me know and we can do the Sarah Boone thing tomorrow. I don't know.
I'll let you know. Hopefully we'll be okay. But
yeah, drink you some tea with honey, some warm tea or something. I don't know. That's horrible. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna add the screen, but leave yours up just so it's there.
Okay.
Because otherwise I'll forget. There we go. Let me add yours back.
I know that you got a bunch of information from like as she went missing. So I think what I'm going to do is like play the first two things showing she was missing. Then we'll go through the Facebook thing and then we'll show where she was found and she takes down the traffickers.
It's fine with me. Whichever makes it easier for you.
Okay. So I'm going to play two videos right now. We'll start with this one. This one is a minute long. Hold on. Well,
a family on Long Island growing.
I hate how it does that. Stay there. Don't start.
Well, a family on Long Island growing desperate as...
Okay. I hate, again, that you do that. Try one more time.
Well, a family on Long Island growing desperate as it approaches 1 month since their 14-year-old daughter went missing. A 14-year-old Emma Ray Gervaisi was last seen on the evening of December 9th. Now, her father tells Pix11 that she was not wearing shoes when she told her mom she was going to the driveway to get something. A video shows the teen either getting into a car or pulled into a car. She has not been seen since. Her father has been driving around Long Island looking for his daughter and posting flyers.
I believe that she might have left willingly to get something out of a car, maybe got pulled in at that point. And I do believe that she would have been home at this point. I think she's being held beyond her will. That's my opinion.
I want to tell y'all, when I first saw this, I saw a picture of her and they're standing on a dock and that's her daddy. And her daddy is holding her and she's like she jumped up into his arms basically and wrapped her legs around him. And I thought that this was the person she left with. I got scared for a minute because you see all the facial tattoos and things. And I was like, oh my God, this child. And then I found out it was her daddy. You guys, this dad is a hero. Like I'm really proud of what he did. And you guys will understand in a minute. But I wish I could personally congratulate this man because this man right here is a hero. We'll continue on.
My baby go, and we're definitely coming for you. Pretty straight up.
Wait a minute.
Well, the family of Gabby Petito has reached...
I wanted to get that last part again. I didn't quite hear it.
Well, the family of Gabby Petito has reached out to Frank.
Let my baby go, and we're definitely coming for you. Pretty straight up.
He said, let my baby go. We're definitely coming for you. I want to tell you straight up. Hey, Doc Bones and Becky P. Good to see y'all. And Michelle, good to see you. Katia, I saw Katia in here too. I don't know if I said hey to you, love.
So I think that's fixing to answer that question that we had earlier.
Which one?
I think, you remember when we were talking about the Facebook group that had it all previewed, like why in the world is this under Gabby, missing Gabby Petito? I think it's fixing to answer that question.
Yep. I saw that or heard that too, and I was like, yep, that's probably why. We'll show you that post in just a minute.
Just a second.
Family of Gabby
Hey, Joyous.
Petito has reached out to
Oh, that
Frank,
was
the
it.
father
Hold on.
there, to offer their assistance.
That was it. Okay. Try again.
Well, the family of Gabby Petito has reached out to Frank, the father there, to offer their assistance in their search.
So the family of Gabby Petito has on their...
A 14-year-old girl
Hold on
disappears
a
from
minute.
her Long Island home, only to be
Oh my
found a
gosh.
month later, apparently
when it
being
does
held
that.
captive on a boat in a nearby.
Okay, I gotta close out of this so it doesn't give away the whole story. I hate the way my YouTube just starts playing out of nowhere like that every time it goes. Kelly, good to see you. Let me get the playlist pulled back up real quick. Well,
Yeah,
I
we were looking it up, Kara, and it is such. Yeah, I'm going to show you the screenshot that we took. It is such a nice area.
It really
such
is.
a nice area. Yeah.
This story is like insane, and there's some heroes in this, and like I had seen it a while ago, and kind of followed it, but last night in the Discord somebody shared some information, and I was like, oh, that's from that case, so I figured we'd talk about it today. It's a really interesting story. There's one more from a month ago. Okay, I think that's it from when she was missing. Do you want to pull up the Facebook? Or do you want to talk about how she was found first?
Content says you're all husky. Yeah, I choked at lunchtime on my food, and I had an allergic reaction to that. So yeah, my throat is a little swollen. Hopefully it'll go away through the live.
Did you take you some Benadryl or something for the reaction?
So I'm allergic to Benadryl.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's yeah. Don't get me started.
It's a
Hopefully
whole situation.
Yeah, hopefully it'll go away. So yeah, if I sound like a whole man today, that's why.
All right, so I pulled up your screen. You want to scroll through the
Yeah.
I was thinking we could look at that first and then we'll cover how she was found safe.
Sure.
Oh, you took it away.
No, it's coming back. I just had to. So yeah, we just looked up this little area right here, and this is where she's from. And of course, we didn't reveal how she was found yet, but this is the average price of the homes in the area. And of course, you're talking about Long Island, New York, so it's
Beachfront.
pricey. Yeah, it's a pricey area as it is, but the beachfront property there, anywhere from $1 to $2 million to $500,000 to $750,000 on these houses. It's a nice area.
Yeah, is it pronounced Poughkeepsie? Or did I have that wrong?
It's Patch is the name of the local paper, so I don't know how to. Thank you. It's perfect. My nephew brought me coffee, so I'd stop sounding like a man.
Aw.
Patch is the name of the local paper, but I don't.
I don't think it was for the money. I will tell you that she ran away because she got in trouble with her parents, and so I can tell you that it was. I don't know the whole story. What happened? The story behind it is really interesting. They could have known it. She ran away because she got in trouble for posting things on Facebook, and she had ran away previously. That's why in that clip he says this isn't like her. She hasn't contacted us or anything. And then there's predators are online, and I think somebody might have been trying to lure her, and her daddy wasn't having none of it. And so he finds her, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Yeah, not Poughkeepsie, but it's Patch.
Hey, Shaboogies. Hey, girl. Hey, Shaboogies.
Let's see what it
Janet,
says.
Foxy, Poughkeepsie.
No, that's a different place. That's
Oh,
a different
okay.
place.
It wasn't a boyfriend.
Patchogue. It's called Patchogue.
Patchogue. Okay.
Patchogue. Okay. Google says it's called Patchogue, so we'll believe it. We'll
All
believe
right.
it because Google says it is so. So anyway, she went missing on December the 9th of 2024, and her father immediately posted this right here on his Facebook. Anyone with information to contact the Suffolk Police Department. I'm going to try not to dox out his friends, so I'm trying to keep that there. Anything previous to this has all been about his business, and
Okay.
he does like mobile detailing and stuff like that. So anything previous to that was all business related. But he naturally, as a father should, or if you were a person reacting to your child missing, this is the type of thing you would do. You would go on, you'd offer a reward, you'd go and you'd post and you'd post and you'd post until you were sick in the face of doing it, right? That's what natural people do.
Yep.
And he got a lot of kickback. And you know why, because you know what his job was before. You want to tell everybody?
Yeah, so the money aspect of this, possibly why they live in a nice house and all of that. Her father was I mean, I think he did some prison time, judging by the tattoos on his face, the specific ones. And then when he came out, I guess he decided he liked ladies and to be filmed enjoying all the aspects of women in general. So he made a living making movies in the adult film business, and a lot of people have had an issue with that, saying that he evidently has a wife and other children, and this daughter is from a previous relationship, but he has her and takes care of her. A lot of people have said that, CPS needs to be involved because of his work and all of that. And I get upset about that. Hey, Orange Rose, because I mean, as long as he's not doing anything in front of the children and they don't really know about it, I think it would be okay. I don't think we should damn this man because of what he does, especially considering the lengths he goes through to find his child. She had been missing for a month, and she gets found, and he's the one that found her. So I mean, I congratulate this man. I think he's a good father.
I agree with you, Teresa. None of that matters. None of it. None of what he
Yep.
did in his past matters. And I think I've heard it said a couple of times, and this is the way I look at it. If any of us that are sitting right here on this internet would be okay with somebody you love going missing, and all of a sudden everybody in the world on YouTube and any other place was digging into your entire life, if you're okay with it, throw stones. But if
Right.
you're not okay with it, you're not okay with every single aspect of your life being dug into because you have a missing loved one, then reserve your opinions and reserve your negativity.
Right.
That's what I'll say, It's just my opinion. The
hey,
guy
Melanie.
is harsh. He's harsh. He has an aggressive tone. He has an aggressive look, and he's aggressive about finding his child. Like,
Yep.
that's the bitter part of it. So the one that was really
Do you want to
that
play
I'm
any
looking
of the
for it.
videos where he's speaking?
Yeah, this is the one
Okay.
that I was looking for. So this is the
Okay.
one he basically the long and short of it is that they thought this girl was getting ready to be trafficked, and her dad believed that, and this was what he
Hello,
said.
today is December 26th. My daughter's been missing 18 days today, and we still continue to search. But as we go through searching and starting to look through her social media more and more and more and scrutinize some of the guys that have been on there, I come across a guy by the name of Sick Cheddar, S-I-C Cheddar. I'm going to show you his photo now. I want everybody to see that. So this guy's been all over my daughter's feed for the last year or so. He's a full-ass grown man. And whether he took my daughter or not, I don't know. But apparently he's looking for me. And that raises a couple of weird suspicions in my eyes that I'm not a very hard guy to find. So, Sick Cheddar, I know you're watching this, but if you feel man enough and you want to come talk to me, my name and number is all over social media. Not very hard to find. You don't have to troll around behind my back and text people, hey, do you know this guy? And you know this guy, what's up with this dude? Like, just be a man, even though I know you're not, because you DM 14-year-old and 13-year-old girls, you're a fucking pervert. However, if you feel man enough, hit me up. You got my Instagram. I'll even give you my number. 631-294-02.
Thank you.
So if you got something to say to me, you can give me a call. You
It's
can
still
come
out
find
there,
me.
but-
I'm sure my address is all over social media. Anytime you feel man enough, you can hit me up. Or you could just crawl back into the little hole you came from and keep DM little girls. Okay, other than that, I have nothing else to say to you, but this is directly for you, Sick Cheddar. If you have a problem with me, you know how to reach me.
So he had a suspicion that this was one of the guys that was involved in his daughter missing. So, you know, even though I take a little bit of offense to the fact that he's like out here like threatening people online, but I mean, you're going to be in my 14-year-old DMs.
I love him. I love the fact that
yeah.
he's out here calling out the people that he thinks has his daughter. And I will
Agreed.
say she doesn't look 14, especially in that picture where she's got her
Not
hair
at
done
all.
and all that. But she, in
Not
the
at all.
picture right beside it where she's with the horse, she absolutely looks like a child, and that's gonna play a role in
And
this as well.
And this is a little bit younger. I looked it up. This was a little bit younger. This is her 14-year-old photo. She has a full tattoo here. And then I don't know if we'll run into it. She also has a tattoo of partial sleeve all the way down one of her arms. So she has several tattoos. Most 14-year-olds see, she has one right here on the inside of her shirt. Most 14-year-olds aren't allowed to have tattoos.
Yeah.
You know, most 14-year-olds don't go to places with their parents and get a lot of tattoo shops won't tattoo a 14-year-old. So,
Right.
You know, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that it, you know.
No, and I mean, the reason it's important is because there's going to be an aspect of this where they say they didn't know she was 14. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it. I'll go more into depth into that. But you can see he's all over his Facebook just trying to find his baby.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to go closer to where he was starting to find.
For the new year, with the search for the missing teen now in its third week, Long Islanders are
Just
stepping
3
up to
weeks
help.
in.
News 12's Krista McNally spoke with community members in Shirley.
It takes a community. I have to, sorry.
Oh,
Friends, family, and even complete strangers coming out to help find Emma Ray Gervasi.
And I can't imagine the pain the parents are going through.
I feel for him.
The 14-year-old Patchogue girl has been missing since December 9th, and dozens volunteered to go out in search parties to look for her.
I'm here to support, like everybody else, in the effort to find this young girl.
To see everybody pull together is pretty amazing.
Emma Ray's father and stepmom say they are.
Cara.
She said she had a tattoo at 15. I got my first tattoo on my 18th birthday, but I had piercings and like little homemade tattoos. My husband tattooed his fingers at like 16. Abellis, you can pass for 378 yourself. I would like to see that.
378, huh?
I'd like to know what a 378-year-old looks like.
Oh, I thought she was saying pounds.
Oh, well,
No,
she
she
might
would-
have
Nah, she ain't no 378 pounds either. Okay, so yeah, so there's a lot of his, and if you want to go to his Facebook, it's not real hard to find. It's under his name, so you can go and look at all of the things he had to say. But he was 100% a true advocate for finding his daughter, like in every way possible. I can't even. All right, so this is the first one where we see he found her. She's safe and recovering. He's saying thank you to the support.
And I proudly... Good morning, guys. Today is day 27, and I proudly am very happy to tell you guys that Emma Ray was found yesterday. She is home. She is in a facility right now getting the help she needs and is safe.
That's awesome.
That being said, there's a lot to discuss here on this video. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the community for all the support you guys gave us, posting all the videos, pushing all the content, and donating flyers, donating your time to look for my missing girl. It is those things that are going to help bring other kids home. This is not just we did it for Emma and that's it. Those are the things that are going to help bring other kids home. which is going to lead me to other things I'm going to talk about in this video. So first and foremost, thank the general public and the community across the country for supporting us and getting Emma back home safe. It was those social media videos and the flyers that helped me to get an anonymous tip yesterday. And I want to thank that person on this video, I'm not going to mention her name, for coming forward and giving me an information about my daughter. And the phone call that I received was that she was on a boat in Islip. I didn't want to believe at the time.
So he said she was on a boat in Islip. Does anybody know, is Islip, is that like a little cove? Is that a place? Is it another city? I did not look what Islip was, but that's where he said she was on a boat in Islip. Islip. I did look that up, but I didn't look up what it was. So if you know, let me know.
I did follow that up on my own. I drove down there. The lady who gave me the tip was afraid.
Are you serious, Shaboogies? He found his girl in Iceland?
No, sorry, I was muted. I found it. Hold on, I'll show you real quick.
Oh, Shaboogies. You troll.
Look at the house. That's that area that they live in, I think. I don't know.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, Suffolk County. Yeah. So that was the area. So it was in Islip. So in that little laguna, that little bay like area there. Shaboogies, you're in timeout.
What did Shaboogie say?
She said it was a whole ass country. She said in Greenland. She's a troll.
Nice.
It did sound like you said Iceland almost, yeah, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh goodness.
To go in the boat, believed to be with some dangerous people, etc. I still wasn't sure if it was a legit lead or not. That being said, I'm not going to talk about too much on social media about the guys involved or any really of the events, but I did bust into.
You don't have to, Mr. Frank. Allegedly, he's going to ice them out for you.
Yep.
To the boat and recover my daughter. I did clear the boat. There was nobody else on the boat at the time when I got there. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know who was inside at the time as the curtains were drawn on the boat.
So this dude got a tip that his daughter was on a boat in Islip. He went and searched this boat by himself without law enforcement, without anybody else, and took his daughter back.
Yep. Kudos to this man.
I mean, this is a real life. Somebody said it earlier. This is a real life taken situation. I will find you, and I will get my daughter back. Like, suck it.
Yep. He's amazing.
That being said, she's safe and alive, and I believe it was persistency that helped bring her home. A lot of details about the people involved I'm not going to discuss. It's still an active investigation. Also, I'd like to thank the 5th Precinct, Detective Quintoni, the DA squad.
Roxanne, hello.
Hey, Roxanne. My love.
Zuckerman, Detective Barry, and everybody else involved in their tireless effort to help me. The whole entire 5th squad, you guys are awesome. I know I busted your chops a bit, but I believe working together helped bring her home. The guys, when kids go missing, the police department is inundated with tips. They're trying to find your kid. I've been through this a bunch of times already, but that being said, there's only so much they can do to help you bring your kid home. You have to be an active participant in bringing your kid home. They can only do so much. And we worked hand in hand together to help find Emma. And their desk was loaded with tips that they have to sift through to find out if they're valid or not, because believe it or not,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was just going to say, we're not 100% certain if he is. He looks like he could be, but, you know, then again, I haven't seen him wear any colors or anything besides gym clothes that indicated that. He might have been at one time. His tats look like they may have been done in a prison setting, and He does look like a real gruff guy, but I don't know for sure. I haven't heard him say anything about it.
Yeah. I thought so too, because I said he looks like a biker, but again, we were talking about it this morning, and she said it looks like they're like prison tattoos or something like that. I know there was some trauma in her younger life. I don't know what that involves. I don't know if he got in some kind of trouble and went away for a little while, and his daughter was, had trauma from it, or the split up or whatever. But I that's what we came up with as far as that goes, and I forgot what else I was going to say. It just left my mind. Hey, the Astro.
I can't. Oh. She's sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I was just saying I'm sure he's going to get her back, and I'm sure that she's in a facility trying to overcome what she endured for the 27 days she was gone. So I'm sure they'll catch up on all of that in the back end. If she doesn't, want to be with her father, I'm sure that they'll figure it out on that side. Sometimes as teenagers, we don't realize how much our parents try to protect us until we're older. So she may not realize it.
Yeah. And I was going to say, a lot of times when people go missing, the cops do everything they can do to go on further what he was saying, but there's only so much they can do. And the fact that he dug through everything, he located these people, he found these people, he was so active in trying to find her, I think is what brought her home. I think that she might still be missing if he hadn't been so active in trying to get her back and bring her home. And I do appreciate him for that.
Is there anybody trying to steal Basil away?
Oh, Veronica, you can't have Basil. Basil's laying on the bed.
Frank the Tank.
Cara said this dude is what we call rough, tough cream puff. He looks like a mean guy and angry on the outside, but those who know him as a teddy bear. Aw, I bet they do.
He defends himself. I'll be honest with you. I have two brothers that are both affiliates in motorcycle clubs, and they both look like this. Not on the tattoos on the face, but they both look like this. They're rough, they're tough, they're mean. They wear the sunglasses all the time. They got the beard. They wear the hoodies. They wear their colors. They're nice dudes though. They all have kids, and they do everything in the community, like to protect the kids. They organize runs. There's a case coming up that is going to trial in March that allegedly, and I will probably talk about, that was here local to me, and the biker community itself actually located and found this little girl. Most of you probably heard of her. She was a FedEx guy, actually took her from her home, walking down the pathway to her home from school, and he took her in the FedEx truck. And
okay, hold on just a second. Roxanne, I'm really sorry that you took that a wrong way. It wasn't meant that way. I mean, I didn't mean to offend you, and neither did anybody else, but it wasn't. I mean, it's not like I called you a name. I'm sorry you felt insulted, and now I know not to reference that song when I say your name, but I don't think anybody insulted you by singing a song. I sincerely apologize that you feel that way. Continue.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Continue.
Anyway, the little girl was taken down the path from her front yard. She was walking home from school, and the guy was driving a FedEx truck. He was a FedEx driver, and took her and brutally unalived her. And the biker community found her and helped her get back home. Roxanne, I'm sorry that you're offended. It's just a song. Please don't be so sensitive.
Nobody was calling you that, sweetheart. It was just a reference to the song. Nobody said that you were that. Okay? I'm
just
sorry.
Chill.
It's okay. I won't ever do it again, and I'm sorry.
It wasn't even you. I was the one who sang it.
It's okay. Okay.
It's just a song. Chill.
All right. So what else did he have to say in this video?
You get a lot of fake bullshit tips. I almost didn't follow this tip. I almost blew it off because it sounded bogus. That's why you got to follow up on everything. That being said, we are bringing an organization here to Long Island. As you can see my shirt, Protect Our Children, started by a very good friend of mine, Pete, out in Staten Island. He runs POC over there. It's a not-for-profit for helping families, recovering their children, kids that are being bullied, things like that. Pedophiles, preying on your kids, all things like that. This is an amazing organization.
Yes, he was. They were on Dr. Phil. They did a whole 40-minute special on it. Unfortunately, you can't play that because we'll get dinged.
Yeah.
They were boots on the ground for us, also helping me. They came out, spent tireless nights pounding the pavement with me. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate not only them, but all the other participants that donated their time, sitting places, asking me where I can go, doing surveillance for us, all helped us out. We may have been chasing dead leads or whatever it is, but it's the persistency that's going to bring the kids home. So that being said, keep following up on this. This is something that we're going to be organizing here and helping other families when they're in a time of need, to help get through this and navigate it properly and work hopefully with the police department on it.
So, and I think from here, he kind of starts his own little advocacy a little bit here and there to continue to find the people that were involved. I know he said he didn't want to speak on it at first, but he, once the arrests of the people that had been involved started happening, which is going to be allegedly his forte here today, is when he started talking a little bit more and started taking on some heat, because he said, regarding his daughter, her situation might be over, but the bigger thing in it was that they were planning on selling his daughter. They were going to traffic her. They were going to do the things that you can't imagine being done to your children.
Yeah.
So
it's scary.
It is scary.
Boat owner.
That's right.
A debunking. Hey guys, how are you? Today's Monday. So I'd like to address a couple of things on social media right now. One, somebody posted something about a debunking the disappearance and recovery of Emma Ray. I assure you that's not me, and whoever's running that group probably has zero knowledge of the situation. So whoever's going to be watching or listening in on that group is probably a bunch of BS. But you do what you want with that information. There's also a lot of ridiculous social media stuff going around right now, which the police are aware of. I find it absolutely ridiculous, the complete bogus Facebook pages about my daughter and made up conversations about her and things like that. I find it pretty sad that in this time of
I kind of wanted to off the side a little bit. Miss King, if anything, I saw you yesterday in a chat and I'm so excited. I know some of everybody that was over there is over here. I messaged Miss Tanika, Tanika 2 Cents, and after this live today, allegedly and I are going to go over to my channel and we're going to talk about Miss Tanika 2 Cents live with Miss K yesterday on Sarah Boone. And I've watched about 10 minutes of it, allegedly has not seen any of it. And so I'm really excited to blind react to that with her. I did message Miss Tanika and I did see your name in that chat. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too, because I heard that she was locked up with Sarah, and I can provide some aspect on, unfortunately, being locked up. So I'm excited to react to it too. Hey, Toxic.
Recovery for her, that anybody would go through these measures to try to make my daughter look bad or myself. There is definitely one guy in custody already for her disappearance. It'll be on the news tonight. It's a man by the name of Francis Buckheit. From Iceland, and there's probably a lot more going on. That being said, the donations that are floating around.
Yes, Astro, I respect that. Let's not put that. Yeah, I respect what you're saying, but she is still 14 years old, and she still was preparing to be trafficked. Regardless of what you post online, it doesn't give anybody permission to take you and traffic you.
Well, I can say that, when we're young, all we want to do is be grown up. So if she's posting pictures like that, she just wanted to be grown and wanted to do her own thing and run her own life. And she thought she was ready. And thank God that she got found, because it does appear she was about to be trafficked, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it does lend credence to the fact that we should be more careful on letting our children post specific pics online. But I will tell you from personal experience, I have a 17-year-old nephew, and I have I have done everything in my power to keep certain things that he does offline. No, you're fine. You're
You're
fine,
good.
Astro. I didn't mean any. I'm just saying I don't want to put her in a place where we weaponize her, what she did online before she was taken.
Yeah, you're
But
good.
but what I'm saying is I've done everything in my power to keep him off of things, and I have literally gone behind him and taken stuff down off of TikTok and Instagram where he's posted his real name, his real age. I've taken stuff off of Snapchat before, because sometimes Snapchat, these kids are smart. They have instant photos that go away, that you can take like a snapshot of it and keep it on your phone, but it's going to be erased on the encrypted version, kind of like WhatsApp and Telegram and Line and all of those apps. And I have literally seen him take a picture of one of his body parts and send this to another person without knowing who this other person is at 17. And I've had to deal with that in my personal life. It's very scary. Like, he does not condone her putting those photos on there. But somehow or another, she's 14 and has tattoos and fake eyelashes and all the makeup she needs. So yeah, it's hard. It's a hard mix of what we should and shouldn't allow as parents, and it's so hard because what I would do isn't what you would do.
Right. And I think if I understand correctly, the reason she ran away the night that she disappeared was because she got in trouble about photos she was posting online.
That's right. That's right.
So I think that he was trying to, like, hey, you don't need to be posting that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have a phone until I was after I had my first child. So I'm growing up with all of this just like our kids are.
Yeah.
My nephews are so smart.
Lord.
Like, get your ass off the internet right now. But then, hey. Okay, let's finish this one.
Definitely wouldn't recommend donating to those. They're it's bogus. Also,
Hi,
the
Lily.
police are aware of those bogus donations that are going on.
Hey, Malibu.
And the only important thing that should matter right now is my daughter's recovery and her safety. So we are definitely keeping a close eye on that and working well with getting her the care that she needs. Other than that, none of this other stuff really matters to me that's on social media. It's all just background noise. And
I agree with him there. So this is Francis Buckheit, and this is the guy's boat that she was found on. Is that right? Allegedly.
Yep.
So he was found on this guy's boat. Wow.
He was going to take her to supposedly was coming towards the Carolinas, or was planning on bringing her to the Carolinas. And I can tell you, Wilmington is a big port city. So, I mean, I'm sure there's port cities up there too, but that always makes me nervous.
Situation. So.
And from what post that she had found on there, I think it's that one, somebody's loved one had died on his boat previously.
Yes, that's what it says. So my mother was found deceased on this man's boat last year in December, and police wrote it off as an accidental overdose. So he had already done something to somebody somewhere. Oof.
Yeah. Down south. I thought they said North Carolina or the Carolinas in one video, but yeah, down south either way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary.
Okay. So I'll pull up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're getting into the part where they start actually arresting some of the people that are involved. So go ahead if I find anything.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to play this first clip that shows where he's talking about her being found, and then we'll hear the whole story. There's 3 different news articles. And like I said, when I first saw it, I thought her dad was the trafficker, like the boyfriend or something. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then I found out it was her dad and everything he did. And I was like, oh, wow.
A Pateron family is reunited. A father is speaking.
Sorry. I hate how it just plays. Hold on just a minute.
But first up tonight, a Pateron family is reunited. A father is speaking exclusively with News 12 about the safe return of his missing teenage daughter. News 12's Carmen Grant brings us the story.
To see her alive in my arms it was a gift from God.
That's how Frank Gervasi describes the moment he found his 14-year-old daughter, Emma Ray, Friday afternoon. He says she was aboard this large boat that was docked near a local fish market in Islip. She had been missing for 26 days.
We spent the whole day with her at the hospital yesterday, and she is in recovery right now.
He says it was an anonymous call that led him to his missing daughter.
The tip was because of all the social media and everything like that, but this person was definitely sweet enough to come forward and give me some information that did help save my daughter's life.
He believes his daughter was being held there. Gervasi says Emma Ray left the house with someone she knew on December 9th, the day she didn't return home.
It didn't work out too well for her. I think she was afraid to come back home because of the consequences and things like that, and somehow got picked up by some random guy who I don't want to mention names, ended up in a trailer park, was then transported to this boat.
Meanwhile, here in Islip, where she was found, remains an active police investigation. Suffolk County Police removed the boat from the dock today to impound it as evidence. The family thanking everyone who volunteered, as well as law enforcement and countless others who helped.
We were actually losing hope. It was a long time. And like he said, everyone pushing us.
Just wanted to make the public aware that they did an amazing job, and also make sure the police department understood that they did an amazing job.
In Patchogue, Carmen Grant, News 12 Long Island.
Okay, so that was her dad talking about that he found her, which is amazing. And now we'll go to what happened.
Astro, is that Gina? Are you talking about Gina? The anonymous call was Gina, the girl that was supposedly behind somebody that she had met online?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any information on who called. From what I thought, that it was somebody, one of the people involved in the boat thing, but I don't know myself.
12 people now face charges in the case of Emma.
Okay.
That's okay.
So
the dad was online not that long ago. He was upset about a Gina Pateron being behind something, kind of like you would have like a sting operation, but it was kind of like the reverse, like the girl posing as one of the front parts of the operation for the social media aspect of it and luring the children out of their house and that kind of thing. Oh, the grandma. Okay.
Oh, wow. Lord have mercy. The Astro, thank you for your information on this. I appreciate you. The grandma was selling the girl and she tried to get the reward. That's crazy. Yeah. There was 9 when I found, but I think there's 12 now that have been arrested. So, I mean, if there's 12 people involved and they're going from New York to the down south or the Carolinas at least, that seems like a trafficking operation to me. Regardless if it's your first time or your 500,000th time. I mean, that's a big operation. That's a lot of people. It sounds like that to me.
Oh, they're going to say it now? Okay. I was going to say, I don't want to put out misinformation. So if they're going to say it on here, we can verify it. Cool.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and play this. I want to see this trial too. I'm going to be watching for it, Teresa.
12 people now face charges in the case of Emma Ray Gervasi, the Long Island teenager who was missing for nearly 1 month starting late last year. Investigators now believe Emma Ray was involved in a sex trafficking scheme for weeks before her own father tracked her down and rescued her. Emma Ray was being held against her will on a yacht, and the owner allegedly had plans to take her across state lines and continue on with the sex trafficking. It's now been more than a month since Emma Ray's rescue, but the developments in her case just keep on coming. The arrests now total 12 people charged in her disappearance.
Katia, it should be out of Suffolk County, New York. Now, she is a minor, so I don't know what kind of information we'll be able to pull on that because she's a minor, even though she looks like an adult. But Suffolk County, New York is where it should take place. Are you serious, the Astro? I wonder where that comes from. That is crazy. Why are they doing that to this child? Goodness.
Emma Ray's case begins on December 9th in East Patchogue, New York, on the south shore of Long Island. Emma Ray was last seen at her house there, standing barefoot in her driveway. Now, according to the New York Post, it was 35-year-old Alton Harrell who allegedly picked her up from this house and drove her to a different abandoned house about 3 miles away in Bellport. For all of this, Harrell has since been charged with first-degree kidnapping and now faces life in prison. But for almost a month, we had no idea who Emma Ray was last seen with. At the time, there were some rumors that Emma Ray was a teenage runaway, but her father, Frank Gervasi, straightened all that out.
So can we just leave the stupid comments off the page that, you know, my daughter's a runaway and things like that? She may have left the house with a stupid thought. What happened to her in this really bad world we live in is what we're talking about here. Trafficking is a huge problem across the world. It's a very big problem on Long Island, and I stress that parents should keep an eye on their children. Keep an eye.
It irritates me when people classify children as a runaway. Like, I don't care if it is a child and she ran away. I don't give a crap. I still want you to look for her like you would look for a child that was kidnapped. Because again, like he's saying, even if it started as a stupid thought, like I'm going to go run away and be with my boyfriend, she's been gone for a month and you don't know like what that boyfriend could be, you know, a trafficker. I read this book when I was, the only time I read was when I was in jail, unfortunately, but I did read this book in jail. It was called the Jade Monkey or something like that. And it was about a girl from China. And this guy came and was like, made her, like, fell in love with her, like made her thought that they were going to come to America and be together. And this guy would come and visit from America, but I think he was Chinese too. And anyway, he ends up taking her and they go to Georgia. And then as soon as they get off the plane, he like walks away and these people come and basically escort her to a car. So now she's in a different country and she gets trafficked. And she thought that she was in love with this guy. She thought she was going to come to America with this guy and they were going to be together and get married and have children. And she ends up in a shack in Georgia getting trafficked. You don't know the situation. The child obviously doesn't know the situation. They're a child. Like, you still have to put the same type of effort regardless of whether they're technically a runaway or not, in my opinion. It's insane.
Eye on your little girls, even your boys, okay? Because these people are predators and they will stop at nothing to get to your kids.
Emma Ray's dad, Frank, plays a huge part in this case. Before she was rescued, he was very outspoken about her disappearance and even posted update videos almost daily to his social media. In that clip we just played, Frank made it clear that Emma Ray was not a teenage runaway. He says she may have gotten into the car willingly, but that she was coerced or groomed to getting in. We've since learned that before her disappearance, Emma Ray had been chatting online with someone who convinced her to meet up. Also, before her disappearance, Emma Ray had a history with drug use. According to her dad, she even had a GPS ankle bracelet on at the time she went missing. That same bracelet was found just a block from her home, meaning that whoever took Emma Ray cut it off to avoid being traced. Now, the
Bazard, good morning, and thank you so much for the support. Bazard said, at this point, I might have to be a tiger dad to a degree. Kids unfortunately make dumb choices online, and these pedos prey on those choices. Absolutely, 100%. They sure do. These children think they're going to meet the love of their life that they're going to be with forever, and it's a trafficker, you know? We can now say she ran away because she cut it off. Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, that's a runaway. But again, you know, she ran away to the arms of a trafficker, unknowing that it was a trafficker. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Are you okay, Katia? Oh my God. I hope everything's okay. If y'all pray, please say a prayer for her mom. There's an earthquake in Portugal. Oh my goodness.
Astro, did you want to come up?
Yeah, I can drop the link if you want to. Or you can share it with us through email or however you want to do that. But yeah, let me know. Thank you. I love that car.
Yeah.
The next time Emma Ray was seen was the following day on December
Xander.
10th. She was caught on security camera video in Bohemia, New York, knocking on motel room doors and wandering around aimlessly. Prosecutors now say it was 20-year-old Kevin McDonald who took Emma Ray from that abandoned home in Bellport to the motel. McDonald is now accused of raping Emma Ray that day before leaving her at the motel. Two other defendants, 63-year-old Daniel Burke and 61-year-old Robert Eccleston, allegedly raped Emma Ray in the same time frame too. According to the New York Post, Burke allegedly kept Emma Ray locked up in his mobile home for more than 24 hours. Eccleston allegedly also raped Emma Ray and kept her locked up in what they called a detached garage container for up to 3 days. After that, Emma Ray was apparently brought to a marina in Islip where she was forced onto a yacht. The yacht belonged to 64-year-old Francis Buckheit, the same man who had allegedly planned to sail away.
So that was a lot of information. Evidently, like the Astro's been saying, the first guy didn't traffic her. He took her and kept her at an abandoned house, and then I'm gathering that she left. I'm going to rewind this so we can try to grasp all this information that's dropped. Hold on a minute. Let's play that back one more time.
Caught on security camera video in Bohemia, New York, knocking on motel room doors and wandering around aimlessly. Prosecutors now say it was 20-year-old Kevin McDonald who took Emma Ray from that abandoned home in Bellport to the motel. McDonald is now accused of raping Emma Ray that day before leaving her at the motel.
So he took her from the abandoned home and took her to the motel and left her there, is where we're at so far. She went with someone to the abandoned house, was at the abandoned house. This guy came to the abandoned house, or he took her to the abandoned house. I'm not sure which one, and then they end up in a motel, and then he leaves her there, and she's wandering around aimlessly.
Two other defendants, 63-year-old Daniel Burke and 61-year-old Robert Eccleston, allegedly raped Emma Ray in the same time frame too. According to the New York Post, Burke allegedly kept Emma Ray locked up in his mobile home for more than 24 hours.
So now these two 60-year-old men come in at some point at the hotel, take her to a mobile home, and literally lock her in. Hey, Rua, good to see you. Hello, sending all my love to Ireland. The Astro said he left her at the motel, then she found the trafficking guys. Okay. This is not the guy who cut off her ankle bracelet. Okay, thank you. Hey, Mandy Lorian. Hey, everybody coming in. Good to see y'all.
Eccleston allegedly also raped Emma Ray and kept her locked up in what they called a detached garage container for up to 3 days. After that, Emma Ray was apparently brought to a marina in Islip where she was forced onto a yacht. The yacht belonged to 64-year-old Francis Buckheit, the same man who had...
And that was the man we just saw in the picture where the girl was talking about her mother had overdosed on his boat previously. And that, I mean, again, you know, the whole situation's dangerous, but then when you get brought to a boat or something, that's when it gets real dangerous, because them boats come in and out. That's how they do a lot of the trafficking and stuff, and the shipping containers and things. So at this point, she's brought out of the locked shed and onto this boat where, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say this guy's been doing it for a while.
Wait a minute before you say that, though. Look, it wasn't a guy.
It gets worse. Oh, yeah.
A guy. So 2 women so far, this was January 29th, were charged in her disappearance as well. 7 total arrested at that time. But this one right here was arrested and charged. Apparently, she was the one who transported her to the... I can't even say. Is that Bunis?
I can't.
Apparently, I don't speak English. Oh, there. There you go.
Okay. I can somewhat see it. Completely alleged transported Bearwall to Bruce Knight's.
Bunis Knight's Copia home. I don't know. These names are foreign to me because I don't live out there, but that was the day before she was found on the boat. So apparently she allegedly did so in exchange for rugs.
Okay.
She exchanged this little girl for her habit.
Yep. That's
Oh,
insane. Like,
for
y'all,
God's
I'm
sake.
gonna tell y'all, like, we've talked about that I've had a past, and let me tell you something. These people, I don't
Copeg? Copeg? Is that what you said?
Copeg.
Copeg.
Like, I would
Okay.
never. I
Thanks,
mean, if
Cara.
I saw a child out there where I was doing substances, I would be like, don't, you shouldn't be here. Please go home. And these people that turn people on, I just can't. I had this girl that did pills, and she was so sick. And she was like, I was doing, by that time, unfortunately, somebody had turned me on to the other stuff. And she was like, please, can you just give me some of that? I want to do that. And I was like, fuck no, I will not be the one that starts you on this. I was like, I don't know. I've tried to help you with what you need. I can't find it. I'm going to drop you off before I go get what I need. But fuck no. Fuck no. It will be the
Wow.
worst decision you've ever made in your whole life. Please don't do it. Ran into her years later, and somebody else had turned her onto it. But I don't know. Like, substance use is bad, but I always had a conscience. I don't understand people.
Wow.
Anyway.
Had allegedly planned to sail away with Emma Ray, taking her to the Carolinas in an effort to keep up with this apparent sex trafficking operation. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and Emma Ray's dad found and rescued her on January 3rd.
Today is day 27, and I proudly am very happy to tell you guys that Emma Ray was found yesterday.
Here's Frank Gervasi once again to explain what led to Emma Ray's rescue.
It was those social media videos and the flyers that helped me to get an anonymous tip yesterday. And I want to thank that person on this video. I'm not going to mention her name.
Bazard said women in these trafficking crimes are probably even more insidious than the men. Obviously, they're bad, in my opinion. I think so too, because as a female, especially, a woman being trapped, you're more likely to trust a woman because you think, oh, that's a woman, she's going to protect me. And then, they take you to these things. Like women, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how you could, I don't give a shit how sick you are. I don't understand how you could do that. My God. Yeah, Michelle, it's crazy. And I'm
we
glad
knew
you
this
did
would.
it.
We knew this was going to be a roller coaster. I mean,
Yeah.
we knew. It's just crazy.
Yep.
Why is this all over the freaking world? Like Florida, we're dealing with this whole CSAM thing and 35,000 images of minors, and then all the way up to New York. It's like we're dealing with this trafficking ring, and then it's just like it's everywhere. Like you can't hide your head in the sand anymore and say that the shit is not happening.
Yeah, it's insane.
You just can't. And you can't blame the parents either, say they're not protecting their children, because I mean, yes, by all intents and purposes, was this stuff happening as freely and as often when the internet wasn't around when we were kids? I mean, can we even say? We don't even know. Now it's like it's easier, but it was still happening, but now it's just easier.
Yeah. And a lot of times, it would hit the local newspapers, but maybe not, maybe make a 5-minute segment on the news, but that was about it. Now it's like, you can see it everywhere, and I'm glad they're getting busted, but I wish we could shut down the operations.
Yeah.
Hey, Dainty. Dainty says, if your life depends on your showing up with another girl, I can see females being worse because their lives may depend on it. And sometimes there's situations like that, but it just sucks because as a woman, you trust another woman before you trust another man. And if that woman has got some other things in mind, then, it just, it makes it more devious, I saw that Rachel said that 2 high-profile brothers in real estate were arrested for abusing women for years. It's horrible. I saw that.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Bad girl, did you mean to do that, love?
And giving me an information about my daughter.
I was muted. What happened? Is everything okay?
Bad girl, did you mean to do that?
Okay.
Did you unhide her?
Oh, okay. She said it was a mistake.
Did you unhide her? Somebody unhide Veronica, please.
Oh, Veronica. I don't know how to do it. Y'all
Vero-
will have my lovely moderators will have to do it. The
Verónica
asterisk
está escondida. Verónica está escondida.
the
I'm sorry, I'm not
asterisk
supposed to sing.
you're good. The Astro said three brothers, they have so much money and ladies didn't tell for years. That's crazy. Hey, Dusty Pear. The 2 women arrested met in rehab? That's not surprising. Wow. Thank you, Abellas. Sorry,
Still
Veronica.
giggling.
Thank you, Cara. It's okay, bad girl. It
Daughter.
happened.
And the phone call that I received was that she was on a boat and I slipped. I didn't want to believe at the time. I did follow that up on my own. I drove down there. The lady who gave me the tip was afraid to go in the boat, believed to be with some dangerous people, etc. I still wasn't sure if it was a legit lead or not. I did bust into the boat and recover my daughter. I did clear the boat. There was nobody else on the boat at the time when I got there. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know who was inside at the time.
I love how he says, I did bust in the door and cleared the boat. Like he came up in that guns a-blazing. This Rambo right here. I love that. I have so much respect for this man.
Curtains were drawn on the boat. That being said, she's safe and alive. And I believe it was persistency that helped bring her home.
For a while, Frank kept the identity of the tipster anonymous, but according to the New York Post, he's since revealed her identity. The apparent tipster was 52-year-old Jacqueline Comiskey, who has since been charged with sex trafficking and endangering the welfare of a child. Prosecutors say she took Emma Ray to a man's house in exchange for crack cocaine. That man was allegedly 47-year-old Boonis Knight, who's charged with second-degree rape and endangering the welfare of a child. He was also charged with 3 counts of criminal sale of a controlled substance, which we now know was cocaine. Prosecutors say this incident happened on January 2nd, just one day before Emma Ray was rescued.
The Astro said it was people on the boat, y'all. The ladies weren't there. There was no men. So the owner of the boat wasn't there. It was the ladies, only the ladies on the boat. That's interesting. Exactly, Rachel. Not all heroes wear capes. That man is a hero. Like I will always have an immense amount of respect for that man right there.
There are 2 more female defendants in this case, too. First, there's 30-year-old Elizabeth Hunter, who's charged with sex trafficking and endangering the welfare of a child, but also faces a charge of promoting an obscene sex performance by a child under 17. 48-year-old Rebecca Bromwell is also charged in the case for apparently selling drugs to
a child under 17. At 17, they're still a child. Why is it a different charge?
You're considered an adult in 17 over there. Here in Texas too.
Oh, really?
Women are. The girls are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Okay, so we're gonna go in order here. So that way we're gonna go order but backwards. Okay. There were 12 people, 12 whole entire people that have been charged in connection to the disappearance of Emma Ray. The 12th arrest was made in the alleged trafficking Long Island teen Emma Ray Gervasi. Daniel Soto is his name. He's a 36-year-old Bayshore man. He was arrested on Friday. Now, this came out on the 8th of February, so that was a week and some odd days ago. Came out not this past Saturday, the Saturday before. They accused him of having sex with a girl sometime between December 13th and the 20th. He abused her allegedly at a marina in Islip, the same place the teen was found last month aboard a 56-foot yacht. So that was one. The other ones down here.
Real quick, Bazard said, thank you so much for the support. Bazard said, look up the Dean Corey and alleged interesting ties between him, Gacy, and other related crimes in the past. These rings have been going on for years. That's really interesting, and I'll definitely look that up because I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that. I'm definitely going to look into that, and thank you for the support. And real quick, Ali X said, notice how he is begging for help and others with missing children tell people to F off.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know that I've never heard.
I don't know about that particular set of parents, but there are.
Well, Seth
people in the-
said if you're not on board, F off. I did hear him say that out of my own ears, but
yeah,
I don't know
have
that
to
Chris and Katie said F off, but maybe.
I'm very careful about that case, but yes, I do. I wanted to highlight the fact that they're out here. That man went out here and looked for his children and was leaving no stone unturned, and he was begging for help. And I really have a lot of admiration and appreciation for that.
That is terrifying. 11 others. So we had Daniel Soto, and then 11 others. They've been arrested, including the boat's owner, which is that Francis Buckheit guy, Alton Harrell, 35, both charged with abusing her and kidnapping, child endangerment. And then Bunis Knight, 47, he was charged with second-degree abuse, child endangerment, and 3 counts of criminal sale of a controlled substance. Daniel Burke, 63, and Robert Eccleston, 61, have been charged with kidnapping, abuse, and child endangerment. 2 women, Jacqueline Comiskey, 52, who was the one who called in the tip to the father, and Elizabeth Hunter, 34, was charged this week with trafficking and child endangerment. Kevin McDonald's 20 is accused of abusing the girl in a car the day after she had vanished. That was the picture of the gentleman that we saw. So those are the people that have been arrested so far. There have been 12 up to February the 8th. Now, there may have been another, I can't find anything later than that, but up to 9 days ago, 12 people were arrested and have been charged in this little girl's disappearance and endangerment.
And thank God that they were found and charged. Malibu Surf, thank you for the support. You asked why not. Because there is, Sebastian Rogers gets so much coverage. Like at the beginning of my videos, there's 32 children missing. I try to update it about every 2 weeks that are never talked about. And the other half of it, I'll be honest with you, is there's a lot of drama. A lot of people won't agree with my thoughts on it, and a lot of people will. And I just don't feel the need to divide people like that. He's getting so much coverage and so many people talking about it already as it is. I don't feel the need to bring it up as well since it's being talked about on so many other channels. The only unfortunate part about it is now it's become about the Rico case and all of that, and a lot of people aren't talking about specifically Sebastian. But again, if I do bring up and do a stream on Sebastian, there's going to be, I'm just going to spend my whole time trying to get people to stop fighting. So I just, he's got a lot of coverage, so I stay away.
Yeah, no, Malibu, we understand. And my reasons for not covering him were completely different from hers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm combative and I will go at somebody, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be about drama, and that entire case has turned into nothing but drama.
Yeah.
And as far as the litigation and all of the things that are going on, people confusing a defamation case with a RICO case is completely just out. It's just boom, mind blown. Like they're 2 different things. It's an injunction. It's not federal. It's not civil. It's not this. It's not that. So yeah, I totally. What about the guys from the hospital? It doesn't mention it in that ad or in that particular news clip at all.
Yeah,
If you have something, send it over for sure.
Yeah, because that's really interesting. I'm wondering what the hell happened at the damn hospital. Who's trafficking her at the damn hospital? The crap is going on in this place. Malibu, you're good. A lot of people have asked that before, and I don't usually respond. So, now everybody knows. So it was a good question to ask.
Yeah.
He did. Bad girl. He really did. And it kind of sucks. The Astro said her dad and stepmom make naughty content on OnlyFans. So maybe the daughter's acting out what she saw at home. I don't know. At her age, I'm sure she knows what they do. Could it make her make some decisions that maybe aren't the best? Possibly. I'm sure that she didn't see anything. I hope not. I'm sure they kind of keep that stuff private, but of course she probably knows what they do, and maybe it could have a correlation. But again, I ran away when I was younger. I was not trafficked, but I was hurt twice. Once when I was 13 and once when I was 16. So, unfortunately, I wanted to be grown. I thought I knew everything, and I left and was at some places I shouldn't have been. And, it happens. And now it's just so easy with these predators to get a hold of that innocence, that wanting to belong, wanting to feel loved, wanting to be adult, and they prey on it. And thank God that this dad found her,
Yep.
Okay.
To an undercover police officer. She shares the same address as Ralph Knowles, who's also charged in the case. His charges are rape, sexual abuse, forcible touching, and endangering the welfare of a child in Emma Ray's case. Now, if you're keeping count, that's only 10 defendants so far. There are 2 more. On February 7th, 36-year-old Daniel Soto was arrested and charged with second-degree rape and endangering the welfare of a child for allegedly raping Emma Ray on the yacht between December 13th and 20th. The next crime
against all logic, thank you for being here.
Against Emma Ray happened after her rescue.
The only important thing that should matter right now is my daughter's recovery and her safety. So we are definitely keeping a close eye on that and working well with getting her the care that she needs.
In his update videos, Frank Gervasi says Emma Ray is safe and being treated at a medical facility.
She is home. She is in a facility right now getting the help she needs and is safe.
So that same medical facility is allegedly where Emma Ray was assaulted once again. 42-year-old Deshaun McLean, a worker at the state mental health facility, allegedly groped Emma Ray. According to Newsday, police got a statement from Emma Ray about all of this, and they also have surveillance video from the facility. Now
This is insane. Like I had not watched this all the way, so I wasn't, we just pulled things and I'll get the videos ready and then we watch them together. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah. Astro, thanks for the heads up. I really appreciate that because that kept me from throwing my computer just now.
Yeah. My God.
Right? Cupcakes and Cameos. I love that name, by the way.
I do too. Yeah, Indie Girl, I'll rewind it. Okay. Hold on. I think it went back to where he was talking. No. Okay, we should be right here.
That's only 10 defendants so far. There are 2 more. On February 7th, 36-year-old Daniel Soto was arrested and charged with second-degree rape and endangering the welfare of a child for allegedly raping Emma Ray on the yacht between December 13th and 20th. The next crime against Emma Ray happened after her rescue.
The only important thing that should matter right now is my daughter's recovery and her safety. So we are definitely keeping a close eye on that and working well with getting her the care that she needs.
In his update videos, Frank Gervasi says Emma Ray is safe and being treated at a medical facility.
She is home. She is in a facility right now getting the help she needs and is safe.
So that same medical facility is allegedly where Emma Ray was assaulted once again. 42-year-old Deshaun McLean, a worker at the state mental health facility, allegedly groped Emma Ray. According to Newsday, police got a statement from Emma Ray about all of this, and they also have surveillance video from the facility. Now, this really is just one twist after another.
It really is. Like, Jesus, leave this child alone. Like, this person knew. Like, what? In excuse me, in a mental health facility. Like, who else has he messed with in a mental health facility? What the crap? This is insane.
Well, Astro, I will say this.
And we've got a lot to break.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, she says not us, because I said I just wanted her to know, or them. I don't know them, he, her, she, they, them. Not everybody does believe, but we believe you because I believe you've done your research. Our job as creators is to go back and do the research and show receipts of that so we don't get called out and then you don't get called out. So I totally agree with what you said, and I appreciate the heads up is what I was saying. So yeah, we believe you. We believe you.
Yeah, I try to verify anything that anybody tells me, but yeah, I believe you. They should be in jail. Like, what the crap?
Yeah. So that begs the question, did the father know putting her back in that facility about what she had been, because she'd been in there before and been, assaulted. Did he know about that and put her back in there?
It's loud. I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
Breakdown. So we're going to bring in criminal defense attorney and former sex crimes prosecutor Kathleen Bogenschutz. Kathleen, thank you for coming on. And I want to start with the newest development in this case, the fact that we're now up to 12 arrests, double digits, the number of people that are allegedly involved in this sex trafficking scheme. What do you make of that number?
Well, it's certainly on the high end of cases that I've seen in the past, but the number of people it's not unusual. It's not unusual to see a number of people involved, but into double digits in this case, it is a little bit more on the unusual side, and it sounds like they're not finished yet.
And there are a lot of details we're not quite privy to at this time. I'm sure investigators and prosecutors are keeping some things closer so that they could be revealed at trial or at upcoming court proceedings. So we're still kind of unclear. But if you had to guess how all of this happened, is there one mastermind person that's behind all?
That's the picture I saw, and I thought that was her boyfriend or something. And I was like, I saw his face and I was like, oh my God, who is this? But then I found out it was her dad. Regina, hello, and thank you for being here. It's good to see you. I think they found him because the dad basically tracked him down, kicked the door in after he got a tip and pulled her out of that yacht. And then she's gotten help and has since, spoke about what happened, who the people were and all of that. And I'm sure her dad helped with some of the people that he came across as well. Crazy.
All of this, or are they all working together? How do they meet each other? How does any of it work?
The crime is not unusual, but every
Pause
case
that.
is very different as to how.
Where's the question?
Arla.
Yeah.
Arla, thank you for being here. And you said what parents do to make money absolutely matters. What kind of logic is that? So, I mean, okay. The thing is, if I think that if they do it privately, that people do that's what they do, that's what's accepted in their household. And this is the debate in this case. A lot of people, the dad has gotten a lot of backlash about that. Would you say the same thing to an actual film star who does that for a living? Would be my question. I would think you would keep it from the children as much as possible. I'm sure at the age she is, she knows that, what they do. I'm absolutely positive that they aren't doing that in front of the children. Could it have influence on the child? Yes. But I don't think that they should be, I think it could have an influence on the child if the child knows that, but I don't think that they should be in trouble or it should reflect negatively on them because that's what they do privately. And if they can make money doing it, then why not? I mean, I would just say not to do it in front of your children. What are your thoughts on that?
Cara, I don't think nobody has said that. I don't know why somebody would say that or what the assumption was. I know you did not say that.
No, nobody said that.
No, somebody is saying that she said that her children were involved in their OnlyFans. Nobody said that. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that at all. I'm really confused about some of the disrespect that's happening in chat, honestly. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand why we can't just be nice to each other. This is not the way our chats go. If you can't say anything nice, I will time you out and you can come back on another live. But do not disrespect our chat. Do not respect each other. Do not disrespect each other, and that's it. Say something nice or don't say something at all. You can say whatever you need to about the parents. We don't know them. We weren't there. If they choose to do OnlyFans in their home and that affects what happened with her, that'll come out. If it doesn't, we don't know that. We're just creators on an app. We don't know that. If it's her dad, I don't understand what.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not going to be arguing in chat.
I don't understand what you're saying, Nancy. If that's her dad, he looks uncomfortably familiar to me as my daughter's. I don't understand what you're saying. Is this somebody you know?
I'm so sorry that you ever went through anything like that. Lord, I hope not. I would think that, I mean, if he's the type to go bust down a door, I don't think he's involved in anything like that. But
We can't say that either. Maybe he's a bad dude. Maybe he was covering up for everything he did and he went and took his daughter back so he didn't get in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just putting out what's on the news.
Oh yeah, Bazard said even if the daughter knew what her parents was doing on OnlyFans, it doesn't excuse other adults sexually preying on children. And I think that's what we need to take away from all of this. And, you know, what they do in their private life is not my business, not your business, not his business, or not their business. If it has a correlation on the child, that's something she'll have to deal with and talk to people about. And she's in a mental health facility from what I've heard, so she can do just that. I'm going to leave it at that. So there's no more fighting in this chat, because this is a very...
I just don't got I got no room to judge, and we don't have any room to judge the parents. All I'm saying, this man appears to have fought back the best that he could, and maybe they're not the best role models. That's not for me to judge. The only thing I know is that what I can see on the news is that the guy was trying really hard to get his daughter back. And then we've moved on from talking about him. Now we're talking about 12 arrests they've made in the case, and her dad's not one of them.
Yeah. And that's the main focus, is the 12 people that were arrested. So, hey, Ace, sub to waffles are really good.
Okay, Nancy, now I get what you're saying. I'm just asking if that we're keeping an open mind. Are you saying that this is somebody you know? Is this a personal case to you? Is that why you're... I do hope not as well, but I understand if that is the case. That is a really scary place to be. This is, like I said earlier, we don't want to judge anybody in the case because we weren't there. But one, if we're not okay with everybody digging into our lives and putting everything out on the internet, then let's not judge other people.
I'm really sorry if that is your child or somebody you know.
I agree, Nancy.
Yeah, you can email me if you need to talk. I'm so sorry if that's going on, and I do apologize. I would say that maybe email me, and if it's real personal for you, maybe come back when we go live about Sarah Boone with Hio in a little bit, because I don't want to upset you. You need to protect your peace.
How they meet the victim and how the crimes are eventually perpetrated, whether there's some plan there for maybe for prostitution and the child is underage, or if and they thought she was an adult. I mean, she does look a bit older than her years. That does not exonerate by any means anybody that's involved, but it leads me to believe that it's highly possible this is not their first rodeo here, trying to take someone like that.
Which is really so scary to think about. You mentioned it too. She might look of age, but Emma Ray's only 14 years old. I mean, she's not even old enough to drive yet. She's probably a freshman in high school, maybe even in middle school. She's so young. And how all of this started, I believe, is likely a grooming situation. She was speaking to somebody online. Is this something that we see, that predators will kind of sneak into someone's life through the internet?
Yeah, I mean, it would be the easiest way to get into a household and to contact a child. When you think about the fact that kids are at school, there's after school activities, where are they going to meet somebody that might be interested in this? And you can protect your kids, you can lock them down in the house, but at some point in time, the world that we live in, they're gonna have to access the internet. And there are all kinds of programs that you can use as a parent. The thing that I'm going to tell my daughter when she's old enough is that basically, if anybody tells you to keep a secret from me, that's your first hint that you need to tell me. So, and it's, I mean, it would not surprise me if there are other victims out there.
The one good thing in all of that is if they were communicating via online, a messenger or an app or something, at least hopefully investigators can go through and trace where all of this came from, or look through their conversations and see what it might have looked like. And I'm interested in the grooming aspect of all of this, because it's something I see in a pattern throughout a lot of my cases when there are child victims or survivors in this case, where the predators kind of prey on their downfall or things that they're insecure about. Is that something that you often see, that they prey upon people who may just be down on their luck or have their guards down?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's grooming is more about to use another analogy, it's about moving the goalposts. So you go a little too far, you say something.
I like this breakdown because it's important to understand the difference in grooming and what happened here. I don't think that this was a case of grooming. I mean, maybe with the one who was talking to her online for like a year, but I think that this was just somebody preying on her vulnerability of being a teenager and wanting to grow up too fast and, you know, having arguments with parents like most teenagers do, personally.
Something a little risque, and if the kid goes and gets their parents, it stops right there, right? But if the kid doesn't do anything or thinks it's funny or continues to participate, then you can move the goalposts a little bit further and go a little bit further next time and see if they're going to tell anybody. So it's in this way that you can kind of, and I don't mean you, obviously, but somebody, if you had the inclination to victimize a child like this, that this is how you would identify which kid would keep their mouth shut and allow you to continue moving forward like this, who might sneak out of their house in the middle of the night and get in a car with you. So yes, there's a lot of unusual things going on in this young girl's life that I'm sure a lot of your viewers would want to judge her and her parents for, but it is an explanation, not an excuse. It's an explanation as to why she was targeted. And it's not an excuse as to what happened to her. So try to keep that in mind, because I've read some of the comments under some of the prior coverage in this story, and I'm sure that there is quite a bit more background to this family. But it doesn't matter. She's still a victim. She didn't ask for this. She was not of age.
Right. Regardless of anything, there is no way that she would be able to give consent to have.
That's exactly right. Regardless of anything, any age, anything going on, she is a child. She was not able to give consent. And these people preyed on her vulnerability, and everything she was going to. Hey, Jackie, I don't know if I said hey to you.
Have sex with anyone, as she is 14 years old. So you're right. She is a victim, a survivor in this case. And if we're talking about her background too, there has been a history with drug use. And actually at the time Emma Ray disappeared, she had a GPS ankle bracelet monitor around her ankle. It was eventually cut off. So we kind of saw all of that. I'm wondering if drugs could have played a role in this. We've seen some of the defendants have drug charges too. Is it possible in that way they may have lured Emma Ray with drugs or drugged her so she may not remember everything?
I mean, and it is not mutually exclusive to consider that it's both. It could have been both. It could be they lured her with drugs and they also controlled her with drugs. So the fact that she got into the car of her own free will, obviously there's something to that. And it's possible she thought she was just going out to have a good time. And a lot of these kids that are preyed upon, their defenses are incredibly low. And I will also put this out to your audience. Somebody who is victimized once, far more likely to be victimized a second time, because, it's horrible to think about, but somebody who is already pretty broken down psychologically, who's maybe looking for attention in the wrong places. I mean, it's just very easy to fall back into a similar pattern, and it does not make them.
Real quick, Mandy, I think she cut the ankle bracelet off like right by her home. Hey, HC teacher, good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Any less of a victim.
Exactly.
The re-victimization is something we do see throughout this case, just given the number of defendants they have. And we'll get back to the part about her being rescued on the boat because that is wild and huge. But based on the fact that you brought up this re-victimization, since Emma Ray has been found, she's been treated in this mental health facility. And now one of the defendants is a person who apparently worked there and sexually assaulted her. Emma Ray has come forward and talked about it. It apparently was caught on surveillance camera video. So does that go to what you were saying about the re-victimization, that this person, a predator, would see someone's already dealing with hardship and then again prey on them once more?
Yeah, or they might consider that this person could be maybe not particularly credible in reporting them, or it is, and I'm throwing this out there, it's entirely possible that that Emma Ray believed that this was, the way that you interact with males based on the way that she had been treated over the course of the past month. And there's almost like a Stockholm syndrome.
That is so sad. I'm sorry for all of y'all going through things. If you need to step away, definitely protect your peace. This is a hard case. But we're gonna have some fun time reacting on Hio's channel, and I'll advertise it in a few minutes when we go live over there.
There we go. Okay. See, this is a comment that I.
Sorry.
This is a comment that okay, this is the way you say things. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's the way you say something when it comes across as combative or intrusive in other people's opinions or thought processes when we're trying to have what I call respectful speculation, which is what we do here. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Yes, Lily, I believe that parents can contribute unknowingly in a lot of ways, through their job, through their personal experiences and the way they teach their children, through substance use, through interchanging of partners regularly, through their own internet usage. I believe that 100%. This right here is respectful and responsible speculation. This is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of things that we're looking for, is somebody who can say, yes, we know parents screw up. We can judge them, and we're going to judge you. We're going to judge you all day long because you're out here on the internet with your face all covered in tattoos that have two little, bars on them that are, there's a lot of things in that man's face. There's a lot of things in that man's face. And there's a lot of things that can be said about the people that were arrested. There's a lot of things that can be said about a 14-year-old girl who's been allowed to have tattoos and put her ass out on the internet. We can say all of that. We can. But it's all of our opinions. And we're all going to have different opinions. There's no need to bitch and fight over it. But we have to be respectful of each other. That's all. That's all. Go ahead, AJ. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We just have to remember to be respectful and say it in respectful ways. And I appreciate you doing that in a respectful way, Lily. And I'm sorry that happened.
In the past with some sex trafficking victims. So if you're the orderly or you're somebody that works at a treatment center like that, it is incumbent upon you to draw a line. If somebody, especially in this kind of a vulnerable state, it boggles my mind that that this occurred. Although, like I said, shocking, not surprising, I guess.
It's just sad to see the number of defendants raised. And initially I saw, 12 defendants. I assumed it was something that happened prior to her rescue. And then to find out it was someone who was supposed to be helping her just adds another layer. But you talked about Emma Ray in all of this. She is the main witness. She was, held captive, I guess, for nearly 1 month throughout all of this. And I know investigators are going to want to talk to her because she is their number one person. She's the one who went through all of it. But how does that conversation work? Because she could be re-victimized. She could have to relive some of this trauma that could be hard to do. Again, we talked about potentially she may have been on drugs or drugged in some way. Does that make things even more complicated?
It does, as to her recollection of events, certainly. A lot of human trafficking victims that I have interviewed in the past have very blurry recollections and oftentimes a very complicated timeline to deal with. What I would recommend, if somebody were asking my opinion, would be that they do an initial interview just to try to nail some of the the main facts down, and then they can revisit the interview weeks or months down the line. And it's entirely possible that that's exactly what happened, because we had this initial spate of arrests and now we're seeing some more.
That's a hard place to be in, to try to take this child's statement while making sure that you're not re-victimizing her. That would be hard. And I'm glad they have a procedure on how to do it without re-victimizing the child.
So I would imagine that that's the follow-up interviews are what we're seeing here. And also allowing her to do an interview and then maybe go talk to a therapist for a significant period of time and have some intensive therapy in between interviews with law enforcement. So, and just to try to, I guess, you're never going to get us, but to try to allow her to recover from remembering these things and to try to start the therapy process as soon as possible.
That is really important for her mental health, her future, because she has a long life ahead of her. And there's a lot of work ahead, I guess, so to speak. Something I want to talk about in this case, too, though, is the fact that her father is the one who rescued her on this yacht. He got a tip, broke in, found Emma Ray. Now we have her. She is now in treatment. We have tabs on her. However, this tip for a while was considered anonymous. We didn't know, who the person who had handed it over to the father was, but we're now learning that it was actually one of the defendants, one of the women. She's a grandmother. She was charged in bringing Emma Ray to the home of another man who allegedly raped her in exchange for crack cocaine. That was a bombshell to me, the fact that one of the defendants basically led the way to Emma Ray. What do you make of that?
Was she saying that it was her grandmother? Her grandmother. She said was a grandmother. I didn't catch her grandmother. I'm going to replay that. That was really interesting.
Veronica.
Treatment, we have tabs on her. However, this tip for a while was considered anonymous. We didn't know, who the person who had handed it over to the father was, but we're now learning that it was actually one of the defendants, one of the women. She's a grandmother. She was charged in bringing Emma Ray to the home of another man who allegedly.
Okay, so it's saying that one of the women who trafficked her is the one who gave the victim, and that woman is a grandmother. I don't think it's saying that Emma Ray's grandmother
but
was
it says
involved.
a grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I could have misheard at the way it was said, but
Astro's trying to slide in my DMs. Hold on, let me send a message. What I was going to say was, Anders was having a little trouble understanding the word. I think re-victimization. And so I just wanted to say, basically, re-victimization happens when a person who's already experienced trauma or a crime is harmed again, whether it's through another crime, the justice system, the media, public scrutiny, YouTube. It's like being victimized all over again, sometimes by this, the same institutions that are meant to protect and support them. Survivors being doubted or blamed in court, victims' personal lives are dissected the way that we do on YouTube, or they're blamed for their own victimization. They're targeted for future situations, that kind of stuff. So why are they easier to victimize? Because they've already been they're targets. They're already out here. So we know her name. We know who she is. She's 14. This case is going to follow her the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So if you think about the fact that you know her name, and the next time you see her, say in 15 years, she starts her movie career, and you look her up, and you're like, oh, Emma Ray. Oh, I remember her. And then so you get on your YouTube channel, and you're a creator, and you've got 10,000 followers, which is not huge on YouTube, but somebody catches on and you're like, oh yeah, do you remember that Emma Ray person? And then you're all over her old stuff that she was traumatized with as a child. She's moved on from that, doesn't really want to go through that again. And here we are talking about it again. I mean, kind of what creators do on YouTube on a regular basis can be considered re-victimization if the person or the families, like we have a person in chat today that might be involved with the family, or that might actually be family to one of the defendants in the case, and that is a revictimization of friends and families of the victims.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There's nothing I can add to that to make it any better. You said that perfectly.
You're welcome, Anders.
And thank you. Hey, Fisher Blue.
Yes, exactly.
Fisher Blue said yes, although the exposure may not be inherently traumatic, but may only carry reminders of the original trauma, event, or relationship. Re-traumatization typically refers to the reemergence of symptoms previously experienced as a result of the trauma. Thank you.
Very well said. Very well said.
The Astro's sliding into them DMs. I've been employed 24 years. I got 2 cars in my own apartment. What you trying to do?
Oh, you pay bills in a long distance relationship too? Well, let me give you my. Where's the cash app? Hold on. Astro, you're funny.
Allegedly raped her in exchange for crack cocaine. That was a bombshell to me. The fact that one of the defendants basically led the way to Emma Ray. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not in her brain, but I would imagine that there may have been an attack of conscience there. Or maybe, the thought of obtaining drugs was, I guess, too much of a siren call. But after she saw what was occurring, that there was some kind of a come to Jesus there. So, I mean, look, I would imagine that person, the person that
hey, baby,
it's tax time. I'm on my way. That's too funny. But yeah, on a real note, because if you don't laugh at some of these cases, I say this all the time, because you do bring humor into the chat or into the lives themselves. It is a serious subject. It is a serious roller coaster of a subject. But you guys do have to bring lightheartedness and candidness. Our chatters are so candid, and that's how we end up, we have very strong opinions of how things are going, and then we can laugh about things, and we have 2 different languages going all the time. It's such a diverse place to sit, and I don't know. I just agree with everything the chat said today. And sometimes on a live, we're responsible for everything that comes out of our mouths, right? Everything that I say to you, you say to me, can go back and somebody can clip that and go, look what Hio said. Look what allegedly said, and then look how they were attacking this person in chat. And it's like, we don't want to do that here. We don't want to foster an environment where you think that you can't say anything you want to say. If you want to be happy, you be happy. You don't have to be serious all the time. Yeah. If you don't laugh, you're going to cry. So yeah. Bellis, is that your real life name? Oh, Veronica's trying to dox people out in here.
Uh-oh.
that brought the information to her father, who was eventually able to recover her, that person will be treated in a much different manner than the other co-defendants. I'm not saying that she's not going to be punished, because obviously what she did was horrific, by stopping this at some point, even saving her any additional amount of abuse. I think that's going to be rewarded by the state, and it would not shock me if that person doesn't end up testifying.
That's something definitely to keep an eye out for.
Hey, Lil Red, good to see you. Okay, so
I was kind of going to touch on what Fisher Blue said, that attachment theory plays a role too. And attachment theory shapes the way that we connect with each other through our life. It's like the emotional blueprint that we have, right? It influences everything we do. All the trust, all the intimacy we face, how we handle conflict, how we, fight off our stresses. In true crime, it also helps us understand the behaviors from the victims, like the criminal mindset and the vulnerability side, like the victim side, and the defendant side, like their criminal. It's just used to explain a lot, right? It's used to explain a lot. But attachment theory basically explains how our early relationships especially to the people that love us or care for us, that are closest to us, shape the way that we connect through the rest of our lives. So I just want thank you, Fisher, for saying it. I like it. I like it a lot. Where'd you come from? You're hiding in the bushes.
Yes.
Come out more often.
Thank you, Fisher. I'm going to play this 3-minute and 19-second. It shows the people, 9 of the people that were charged, and then we'll watch another one where they were talking about her being found and might get some more different info on the situation. I hate when I do that. Okay.
Let me smack your hand. That's rude, isn't it? I won't hit you.
No.
I'll just smack your computer.
Yeah,
Get it
I need
together.
to start my computer. It is, yeah, that's what needs to happen. You guys are awesome. I was reading the chat. Okay. So these are the people that they've got so far, or 9 of them out of 12.
9 suspects appeared in court today following their indictment in a sickening sex trafficking case. A total of 12 people have now been charged for their alleged roles in the kidnapping.
So we got Robert Elkelston, Daniel Burke, Alton Harrell, Boonus Knight. That's the boat owner.
No, the boat owner is Francis Buckheit.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Francis Buckheit. That's him right there. Oh, he looks a lot different than he did in that picture.
Yeah.
Down here we got Deshaun McLeland. That might be the person she met. And then Kevin McDonald came in.
So they caught him coming up on the boat, they arrested Francis coming up on the boat. He was stark ass drunk. That's why he looked like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they caught him doing that.
And we got Jacqueline Komsky, Elizabeth Hunter, Ralph Knowles, and then I'm going to play it. More people are going to come across.
Kidnapping and sexual abuse of a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, hold on. I missed some of the names. I'm going to start it.
Victim was missing for more than 3 weeks before Long Island, where 9 suspects appeared in court today following their indictment in a sickening sex trafficking case. A total of 12 people.
Rebecca Browell, Ralph Knowles, and then I think we've got again Robert Eccleston, Daniel Burke, Alton Harrell, Bruce Knight, Rebecca Browell, Ralph Knowles, Elizabeth Hunter, Jacqueline Komosky, Kevin McDonald,
charged for their alleged roles in the kidnapping and sexual abuse of a 14-year-old girl. The young victim was
what I saw. Yeah, aren't they all just beautiful? We're teaching
Very
about
nice. They're all good. They're all awesome people.
Yeah. They are absolutely gorgeous people.
These are a whole dozen eggs. A whole dozen eggs of people.
Yep.
So see how the news has blanked out her picture after she's been found.
Yeah.
So that's even that's like a ton more responsible than what we're doing, right? Like they're even just like not putting her picture out. They're like, nope, we're not going to do that. She's 14, not going to do it.
Yeah, and I thought about it like maybe not showing her picture, but I mean, there's not really
hard,
a lot,
right?
Right.
It's hard. And she has a tendency to run away from home too. So it's like, do we not show her picture? And then after we've put this live out and then she has a tendency to leave home on her own again, you know, it's like, oh, you remember that one live we did? Oh yeah, we have those pictures. No, we don't. You know, it's hard. It's hard.
Missing for more than 3 weeks before her dad found her on a docked boat in East Islip. Eyewitness News reporter Stacey Sager is live for us in Riverhead, Suffolk County with more. Stacey.
Well, Pedro, she was missing for 25 days and she was victimized every single one of those days. That's what prosecutors said today in court. Again, we're talking about a 14-year-old girl and nearly a month of sickening events that brought us to this point.
One after another, and each story sounding like a horror movie on repeat. A 75-count indictment from a grand jury in Suffolk County. So far, 9 different defendants facing a litany of charges in the case of a 14-year-old East Patchogue girl who went missing back in December. until a call from one of the defendants, 52-year-old Jacqueline Comiskey, who led police to this 56-foot boat in Islip where the teen was found 25 days later. But
look, I'm not trying to advocate for no dang trafficker, okay? But I hope that that woman does get a lighter sentence, because if she hadn't have said something, then God only knows where that child would be right now. If they had come to the Carolinas, and then down to Bermuda, or, you know, keep on going down south, we might not have ever found her. So thank God that woman did say something. However, she does need to be held accountable. So I hope that reflects on her, and maybe she gets a less of a sentence or something.
But prosecutors say that's not until after each of the 7 men in this picture had sexually assaulted her, and the 2 women allegedly traded her out for sex and crack cocaine. Attorneys for those accused painting a far different picture.
There's nothing to indicate that she was held against her will.
She didn't call for help because she didn't want help. She was there on her own, voluntarily.
But prosecutors say it all began with this man, 35-year-old Alton Harrell of Bellport, who was communicating with the teen on social media. Harrell now facing the most serious of the charges, first-degree kidnapping, along with rape and trafficking.
Look, I don't know what these defense attorneys are getting at, but I'm sorry. At the end of the day, she was 14 fucking years old. What the fuck do you mean she wasn't being held against her will? No, that she's a child. Like, get her the fuck out of there. Like, what the fuck are you saying? If somebody had
even if she didn't want to go home, you put her ass in the car and take her home.
Right. Lord have mercy. When I was running the streets, if a child had rolled up, I'd have been like, where the fuck do you live at? Because that's where we're going right now. The fuck?
Right? You're not getting me in trouble.
Yeah. The fuck?
Mr. Harrell attempted to assist the police in locating this person, and this person was gone for a very long period of time that he had no contact with her.
The boat owner, Francis Buckheit, faces that first-degree kidnapping charge as well, and Daniel Burke, who allegedly kept the teen at his mobile home for 3 days. Prosecutors say the girl was given crack cocaine every day she was gone. Lawyers for all the defendants insisting their clients had no indication she was only 14. Meanwhile, both the girl's parents were at court today. Her father initially very outspoken about the case, saying nothing, nor did her biological mother.
Now, that was the part I was talking about earlier. The tattoos and the age thing is going to come into play, because if she didn't say she was a minor, she does look like an adult. But I would go back to that one guy that was contacting her for like over a year. There's no way he didn't know that she was a minor. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't disagree with that. I mean, and there are some times where I look at her and I could tell she looks like a minor. She does not look like a minor when she has her fake lashes on and all of her makeup on. But right. I'm going to be under the assumption that the 27 days she was gone, they probably, the way that the people are looking in those photos, I doubt that they let her put on her full makeup every day. Right. So she probably looked like the child that she was.
Yeah, at some point they would have been able to tell. And yeah, there's no way she kept it on the whole entire time. So that's a good point.
And it was only last week that many county officials stood before the cameras and talked about the problem of sex trafficking in this county, how it is in the worst 20% of regions nationwide for sex trafficking. There are, in fact, 12 people who have been arrested in this case. 9 of them were indicted today by the grand jury. There may, in fact, be a superseding indictment to come, which includes the remaining 3, but 9 of them who went before a judge today, 3 held without bail. We're live in Riverhead. I'm Stacey Sager, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay. Now I got 2 more like 20-minute segments, but we're just going to watch one of them to see if we get any other information, and then we'll probably head over to Hio's channel. I do have to walk my neighbor's dog at some point, so.
Hi, Janice Gypsy. We'll probably take a 30-minute break in between if you want to. That's fine with me.
Okay. Well, I think that I was thinking about it, and I can get on my phone when I have to walk the dog. If I haven't walked the dog by the time we go live, I can just keep on, stay on with you and react while I'm walking the dog. So anyway, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Completely
It's a bizarre story.
I hate when it does that.
Now to Long Island, where 9 suspects appeared in court today following their indictment.
God. This is the one I want. Please play this one. Is that the one we just watched? No, it says this is the one we just watched.
Oh, yeah,
this
everybody's
is
invited.
the one where, yeah, we're gonna, I would love to see all of y'all there. Let me go down to this one. Okay, we'll do this one.
I won't be having any more pozole, though.
Coming in the case of Emma Ray.
Sorry, love. What'd you say?
Oh, I said I can't have any more pozole. Apparently, I can't handle it. I choked on it, and my voice is just now coming back.
I'm glad it came back.
I sound like a grown-ass man. Hello. Content was calling me out. Thank you, Cara.
Oh, Cara got it. Okay, I was about to drop it as well. I'll go ahead and pin your link at the top so everybody can subscribe to see us react to Sarah Boone's former cellmate after this.
You can have it. You can have it, Cara.
I want some pozole.
You're new to me, and I'm new to you. Little Red, I love your name, Little Red. It reminds me of a wagon that my brother and I used to have. I used to pull him around on Little Red all the time.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, he was my baby.
Aw.
Oh, Jenna's in the chat shambling.
Yeah,
Shambling.
the radio flyers. Hey, Boomer. Good to see you.
Gervaisi, the 14-year-old girl who was kidnapped and missing for a month before her own father tracked her down and came to the rescue. Investigators now believe Emma Ray was involved in a sex trafficking scheme, and the number of people involved just keeps on growing. The last time we told you about Emma Ray's case, there were 2 arrests. Now there are 8, including 2 women, one whose Instagram describes her as a loving grandmother. That same grandmother now faces charges of...
So this one should have different information. This is going to be after the one we just watched talking about 12 people. This is when they only had 8. Yeah, loony boony content. That's what we're going to be talking about. Hey, Jenny Jen.
Sex trafficking and endangering the welfare of a child. 5 other men are also charged too with kidnapping and rape. Lots of twists and turns in this case, but to understand where we're at right now, let's go back to the start. That's December 9th of last year, when 14-year-old Emma Ray Gervaisi was last seen in the driveway of her East Patchogue home on Long Island. At first, the story was that Emma Ray was getting something in her driveway when she was taken, but that doesn't seem totally accurate anymore. New reports say Emma Ray got into the car of someone she met online, who we believe to be 64-year-old Francis Buckheit. Remember that name, he'll come back later. After Emma Ray went missing, there were apparently reports that she left willingly and was some sort of runaway. Here's what her dad, Frank Gervaisi, has to say about that.
We just leave the stupid comments off the page that, my daughter's a runaway and things like that. She may have left the house with a stupid thought. What happened to her in this really bad world we live in is what we're talking about here. Trafficking is a huge problem across the world. It's a very big problem on Long Island, and I stress that parents should keep an eye on their children. Keep an eye on your little girls, even your boys, okay? Because these people are predators, and they will stop at nothing to get to your kids.
A couple of things to take away from that video. 1, Emma Ray could have gotten into the vehicle somewhat willingly, but as a naive teenager. And
hey, Rubber Robata, good to see you, love.
2, Emma Ray may be involved in sex trafficking. During the time she was missing, Emma Ray's dad kept making videos just like that one, asking for tips and giving updates on the case. Almost right away, he said he believed sex trafficking was involved. He also noted Emma Ray had a history with drug use before her disappearance, and at the time she went missing, she was actually wearing one of those GPS ankle bracelets. But that didn't help tracking her down. The bracelet was actually found a block away from Emma Ray's house. It had been apparently cut off by the people who took her. On December 10th, the day after she went missing, Emma Ray was seen in Bohemia, New York, not too far from her home in East Patchogue. She was seen on security camera video knocking on motel room doors and wandering aimlessly. But by the time investigators saw this video, she was gone. Over the next few weeks, her dad continued to search for Emma Ray, putting up flyers, making more videos.
Now that one's the one you said that she looks older. She
Most
does
definitely.
yeah, she looks older to me, but she looks young to me at the same time. Like, but I still see like 18, 20-year-olds, and I'm like, there's no way you're 20. So I see people
Yes.
younger than they are anyway. But I mean, but again, like you pointed out, there's no way she looked like that the whole time either, especially
I agree.
Considering everything that was going on. Very interesting.
I know. That's what I'm just saying. I can't unsee it once I've seen it. When I look at her face, if you get close, now that picture doesn't show it. If you get close, she has acne on the very top of her, above her eyebrows, all the way up to her, to the line of her hair. As a mother, I know that that's an indication of, I mean, of course, older people can have acne. It's not that, but to me, it would indicate a younger age, a person coming into their hormones and stuff like that. So,
Right.
This picture doesn't show it, but when you get close to that picture, it shows acne. So if I were standing right in front of her and saw I would just assume she was very young.
Yeah.
I showed my husband the picture and I said, how do you think this girl is? I don't know, 18, 19.
Okay. So it's good to have a perspective from a man too. Yeah.
I mean, just at a glance, I didn't say anything else about it. So.
It's hard to believe that I would have ever thought she was 14. I can't say that. I would think maybe 16 or 17 personally.
Yeah.
Jules said she does look older, but they would have made her look younger the way they have women dress them up and do their hair, etc. That's a possibility. Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense if they're trying to traffic somebody with the premise of them being under a certain age. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, your energy is awesome. The Astro from space. Indie girl said your energy is awesome, and I agree. Lil Red says she looks maybe 20. Right. It's hard to believe that she was 14. Lily's with me. I think about 15, 16 to 17. Hey, Chaz.
Oh, he ain't gonna beat you up. He's good. That's funny.
Videos posting to social media and asking for tips to find Emma Ray. And all that actually worked.
Today is day 27, and I proudly am very happy to tell you guys that Emma Ray was found.
Now, I was going to tell you earlier, the tattoos you were talking about. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it on this one. Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. They look like there's this diamond right here. So I'm wondering if it's supposed to be like the shine from the diamond. I can't tell if they're like back up here behind the diamond or what, but I don't know.
Or Diamond 13. I mean, he has 666 on his head. He has 2 lightning bolts. I mean, it is what it is. He's bald and he's a middle-aged white guy. We get it. I get the premise behind it. I don't know if he's in a part of the, part of an associated prison affiliated gang or anything. Yeah, I don't have any idea. It's just.
I think that we could make he's got a lot of affiliated tattoos. I didn't know if I was trying to figure out myself if it could be a brotherhood situation or if it's like supposed to be from this diamond on his cheek. I don't know.
Yesterday.
We still don't know much about this tip, except that it was a woman who personally gave the tip to Emma Ray's dad. She didn't want to reveal her identity because she was concerned for her own safety.
It was those social media videos and the flyers that helped me to get an anonymous tip yesterday. And I want to thank that person on this video, I'm not going to mention her name, for coming forward and giving me an information about my daughter. And the phone call that I received was that she was on a boat, an ice slip. I didn't want to believe at the time. I did follow that up on my own. I drove down there. The lady who gave me the tip was afraid to go in the boat, believed to be with some dangerous people, etc. I still wasn't sure if it was a legit lead or not. I did bust into the boat and recover my daughter. I did clear the boat. There was nobody else on the boat at the time when I got there. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know who was inside at the time as the curtains were drawn on the boat. That being said, she's safe and alive. And I believe it was persistency that helped bring her home.
It was January 3rd when Emma Ray was found on a boat in the Islip Harbor. Investigators later determined that boat belonged to Francis Buckheit, the same guy who apparently picked Emma Ray up from her house in the first place. Buckheit was also the first person arrested in this case.
So I think they just said Buckheit's the one that picked her up in the first place. And she ended up back on the boat? That's weird. I'm going to play that again.
That being said, she's safe and alive. And I believe it was persistency that helped bring her home.
It was January 3rd when Emma Ray was found on a boat in the Islip Harbor. Investigators later determined that boat belonged to Francis Buckheit, the same guy who apparently picked Emma Ray up from her house in the first place.
Wow, that's interesting. So this guy picked her up from the house in the first place. She ends up at an abandoned trailer and then a hotel and then back on his boat. Like, was he there the whole time? I wonder if he was pimping her out, basically. Trafficking. Yeah. I mean, trafficking her.
Jeez.
That's insane.
Lord, Buckheit was also the first person arrested in this case.
There is definitely one guy in custody already for her disappearance. It'll be on the news tonight. It's a man by the name of Francis Buckheit. It's from Islip. And there's probably a lot more going on.
Francis Buckheit apparently showed up to this marina drunk. So not only did he receive a DUI, but he's also been charged with kidnapping and endangering the welfare of a child. Before his arrest, Buckheit was allegedly planning to sail with Emma Ray down to the Carolinas, but thankfully she was found before that could happen. Emma Ray's father said before Francis Buckheit's arrest, she was being held on the boat against her will.
A lot of confusion, a lot of dumb comments I'm reading that Emma could have just left on her own will. Completely incorrect. Emma was being held against her will. She was not allowed to leave the boat unless she was escorted by somebody. And she was being forced to do things that a 14-year-old girl shouldn't have to do. Right. So I do believe this is sex trafficking, and it's being looked into.
On January 9th, Suffolk County prosecutors announced Francis Buckheit had been indicted by a grand.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's the gist of it. I mean, she was a 14-year-old little girl being forced to do things that no 14-year-old should be doing. So I agree 100% with him. Trafficking.
Yeah.
And jury. The second arrest in the case came just the following week when 47-year-old Bunnis Knight was charged with second-degree rape and endangering the welfare of a child. He was also charged with 3 counts of criminal sale of a controlled substance, which we now know was cocaine. According to prosecutors, Emma Ray was at Knight's home on January 2nd, just one day before she was rescued by her dad. Knight's house is in Copac, just 20 minutes from Islip, where Emma Ray was being held at that marina. Investigators used security camera and doorbell footage from Knight's neighbors to identify him and get the probable cause for his arrest. And since then, there have been even more arrests in this case. 63-year-old Alton Harrell was arrested on January 17th. 63-year-old Daniel Burke and 63-year-old Robert Eccleston were arrested on January 24th. All 3 men are charged with kidnapping, rape, and endangering the welfare of a child. Harrell's charges come from an incident that allegedly happened on December 9th, the very day Emma Ray first went missing. The other 2 men apparently raped Emma Ray the following day on December 10th. Just this week, though, 3 more suspects were arrested in the case, including 2 women. 52-year-old Jacqueline Comiskey is charged with sex trafficking and endangering the welfare of a child. Prosecutors say she took Emma Ray to Bunnis Knight's house on January 2nd in exchange for crack cocaine. This is the same woman whose social media pages allegedly say is a loving grandmother. 30-year-old Elizabeth Hunter is also charged with sex trafficking and endangering the welfare of a child in this case, but she faces another charge too of promoting an obscene sex performance by a child under age 17. This incident apparently happened on December 13th. Now, the latest arrest is 20-year-old Kevin McDonald, who's accused of raping Emma Ray in a car.
So this has more of a, like, lays it out, like everything that happened day by day to this poor child. Oh my goodness. I'm going to back it up because I missed part of what they were saying right when I paused it.
Is 20-year-old Kevin McDonald, who's accused of raping Emma Ray in a car on December 10th. That's the same day she was seen knocking on doors at a motel in Bohemia, and McDonald is apparently the one who dropped her off there. There are lots of arrests over multiple weeks, but all 8 suspects have pleaded not guilty to the charges. This story just keeps having another twist and turn after another, and I want to take a deeper dive into it. So for that, I'm going to bring in Serena Townsend, a Long Islander herself, also a former sex crimes prosecutor and criminal defense attorney. And Serena, when we set up this interview yesterday, there were 7 defendants in the case. And now today we're talking and there are 8. So it just keeps growing bigger and bigger. What do you make of that? Could there be even more arrests after this?
It sounds like it. It sounds like there's going to be many arrests here, certainly already having 8. This is the kind of case where investigators are clearly following lead after lead, following where the evidence trail takes them. And it's really sad because the more people we have arrested, the more it seems criminality happened and the more tortured this poor person was, this child. So every new arrest, every new lead, every peeling back of this onion is yet another crime that's committed. And it's just a very sad story.
It is really tough to think about the number of people who were involved. So that's the number of instances that this young girl was allegedly abused. And it's crazy to think about. But then when I step back and see the bigger picture too, does this kind of show that sex trafficking is a bit more prevalent than the everyday person might think? I mean,
I think it is. I think it happens a lot more than we think it does. Honestly. And again, I hope she gets the help that she needs. Hopefully, Boomer said that my neighbor sews those electric tags in her kid's shoes and jacket. That's a good idea. Becky said, hopefully, if there are any other victims because of this group, they have been rescued. Yeah, because considering what we pulled up at the beginning of the live, how somebody's mother overdosed and died on the boat, I think there might be more victims. Bazard said, wow, a 30-year-old woman who's less than 3 years younger than me and a 20-year-old who could have looked like a younger cousin of mine. See, this is why, sadly, we can't trust people with children. Yep. It's crazy.
A safe place, ordinarily Long Island. She was in her driveway. But is this a bigger thing than we may realize?
I think especially when it comes to trafficking, you have to realize that there's oftentimes multiple players. It's very difficult and, it is more prevalent than we think, but it is difficult to kind of have such a big scheme going on with just one person. To be able to conduct this behavior, to be able to hide or cover up the behavior, and to be able to coordinate the behavior obviously requires a whole chain of people. And every single person who's involved is going to be hopefully charged here, whether they did, whatever acts they committed, whether it's a violent act or even if they were just a member of this scheme as an acting in concert theory for the prosecution.
The way that things allegedly started with this is that she went willingly somewhat into a person's car that she had been chatting with online. And this is the first defendant in the case, Frances Buckheit. And I say willingly, I guess sparingly, because she's a young girl and maybe naive and had potentially been groomed. So that's what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that's a possibility here? I mean, she's 14. This man is in his 60s. They were chatting online. I mean, is that grooming 101?
It really is. And, the law protects or is, designed to protect juveniles in these kinds of situations, because we use the word willingly because as regular people going about our day-to-day events, when we see people doing things and they're not physically dragged or being held at gunpoint to do them, it feels and looks like a willing behavior. But children, as we know, do things all of the time because they feel coerced or they feel they have to do something, or maybe they just don't understand the implications of their actions. And so
do you guys think that this was a grooming situation, or do you think that it's a predator saw a vulnerability and honed in on that and took her? Let me know what y'all think.
So that's why these kinds of laws, human trafficking, sex trafficking, take that into account, and they are kind of statutorily applied. So even if the person looks like or acts like they're doing something willingly, because they haven't come of age yet, we don't put that onus on them. We put that onus on the adult asking them or coercing them or bullying them into the behavior that eventually they're going to be doing.
I'm glad you explained it like that, because yes, we have to remember this girl is 14 years old. She doesn't even have her driver's license yet. 14. We have to remember that throughout all of this.
Yeah, we're saying Bad Girl said grooming. Abella said both. Chaz said both. Bad Girl said grooming on purpose to traffic. Tony said grooming. Anders said both. Veronica said, yeah, because they get groomed. Rachel said grooming with the intent of trafficking. Yeah. Hazard said both. These 6 Fs use multiple tactics to get children. Yep, I agree. Cara said both, and Jules said both. Okay. I think I could definitely see both as well. Sarah said, I see both. Yeah.
Also, when she was found on this boat, which we can get to in a second, some people apparently online were sending comments to her dad saying, okay, well, when you found her on the boat, she was alone. She could have just walked out. She could have left. But does that go to what you were just saying, that she was coerced or bullied or maybe threatened that she had to stay there?
Hey, Angela USA, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. These are the kinds of situations where you simply can't victim blame, because this is a child, and children make bad decisions all the time. Some of them are dangerous decisions, some of them aren't, but we don't fault them in a situation like this. Particularly, you have multiple much older people. I mean, they're practically elderly people who have life experience and the ability to coerce, any number of types of children to do these kinds of acts. And, a child doesn't necessarily have the life experience or the confidence or the physical strength or ability to stand up for themselves. I mean, she could have walked away. How? I mean, you're potentially surrounded by people, or they've threatened you, or there's all sorts of reasons why a child can't and won't do that for themselves. And that, again, is why the law simply has to protect them, even if it appears like they might have made 1 or 2 choices on their own.
Rachel said she was drugged. We don't know what her mental state was. Right. Yep. We were all young and stupid at one point.
I do have to wonder, too, if drugs were involved in all of this. I know that there are a couple of charges related to drugs, and Emma Ray apparently had dabbled in drugs before she disappeared, so she has a bit of a history. And I have to wonder if the defendants in this case potentially lured her with drugs, or, on the other hand, drugged her and forced her to do some of these things. Is this possible?
Absolutely possible. Listen, there's no limit to the amount of coercion and the amount of just nefarious activity that clearly these people, allegedly, but kind of clearly these people have, been willing to do. And so I wouldn't put it past anybody to, if they're already taking actions to lure a child or kidnap a child or threaten a child, to also, drug a child. Certainly that's a possibility on the table here. And I'm hopeful that law enforcement will conduct all sorts of tests to try to determine how the drugs were utilized in this case.
That will definitely be interesting to see what happens, because as we've said at the start of this interview, there continue to be developments almost day by day here. So hopefully we'll learn a bit more on that end soon. I also mentioned her dad because he's a huge player in all of this. He was very vocal. I'm going to find my daughter. Thankfully he did, but he was making these posts to Facebook, asking for tips, putting out a reward. And it was an anonymous tip that ended up leading to Emma Ray.
Do you think that, I wish there was more parents out here like this. I think that there would be less children missing if some parents took more of an active role. I'm glad that, I don't know if it was luck that he was able to find her or because he was so active in trying to find her. But I do appreciate how active he was and how vocal he was in trying to find her. I think that definitely played a big part in this.
So he ends up going to this marina and storms onto the boat himself alone. And I just really can't get over this. I just keep seeing like Liam Neeson in my head. This is Taken. This is a movie. And it's unbelievable that this actually happened. I mean, I've never heard of anything like this. Have you ever seen anything like this?
You know, it is really interesting. And I think, look, different people handle trauma in a different way. There's a lot of people out there who don't necessarily trust law enforcement. We have to remember that even though law enforcement sometimes breaks the rules, they are bound by certain rules that they have to follow. And I think that this father probably was like, I'm not going to introduce law enforcement into this equation because they're going to tiptoe around this. They're going to make sure, I mean, everybody has their rights, which is true. Like if you involve law enforcement, they have to respect people's rights. They may have to get a warrant before they do a search, and every minute counts in the father's mind. And I'm not encouraging it. I'm not saying people should do it, but certainly I could appreciate the hysteria that he might have been feeling that caused him to say, you know what, I'm not going by the book. I'm not waiting for the law. And God knows, you know, maybe they're going to be incompetent and not find the people, or maybe he knew more about the people that she was with than law enforcement would know, and he could hit the ground running. There's 1,000 reasons why a father might jump to this kind of protective place and say, you know what, I know that protocol says call 911, but I'm not doing it. I'm going to get my daughter.
And thankfully, when he did that, he found her and rescued her. So even if it may be against protocol, as you said, it turned out to be the right move because she was found and she is now safe. I wanted to talk about the tip a bit more, though, too, because this tip was an anonymous one from a woman who doesn't want to reveal her identity because she was afraid of retaliation if these people may find out who she is, which that unto itself is very scary and makes me think that these people are very nefarious characters altogether. But do you think that this person may be speaking with investigators, even if we, the public, don't know her name?
I don't know. That's a good question. Why would he go alone? That is a good question. It seems like you would want some backup. Bazard said that he is 1,000 times better than Jen Soto. Cara said, you have plenty of parents who are persistent and looking for their missing kids, but they don't get this result. He just had both the persistence and luck on his side with this. I agree.
Potentially police officers or investigators have reached out?
I hope so. I mean, I do understand and appreciate her fear, though. It's a very real fear. You're dealing with people, if, you know, allegedly, but if they really did do the things that she's claiming they did, these are very dangerous people with a lot of coordination. This may not be, these people are like in their 60s. This may not have been their first victim. This could be the start of a major, massive, long-term, large-scale investigation that spanned many decades even. Who knows? I mean, I'm really speculating at this point, but you really don't know if this is much bigger than we know. And the person who gave the tip obviously knew enough to give it. And so she might know a lot about these people to give her that level of fear. If she is cooperating with the police, then presumably and hopefully the police are giving her the protection that she needs in order for them to get what they want without putting her in real life risking danger.
You brought up a really interesting point here. We know that there are quite a few defendants, 8 at the time of this recording, potentially more, we'll see down the line. But we have one victim or survivor in this case. But do you think it's possible that there is more than one person who was abused by these people? Or as the investigation continues, we find other potentially underage victims?
I think it's very possible. And I think that the police are hopefully thinking about that as well and hoping that they will be able to find more. I mean, this is the kind of thing, as we kind of started this program saying, you're peeling back the onion layers. This type of crime and the situation that we already kind of see developing, it lends itself to more, you know, as they peel back more, as they lift up the rock and they see, you know, the worms underneath, they're going to probably find more and more evidence that might lead them to additional victims, additional crimes. You know, the more people you add to the mix, the more possibility that this is.
I think that there was some, I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me that he has this yacht, yet he's smoking crack and, drinking and things like that. Like, how can he afford the yacht unless he is trafficking? And they were talking about going down to the Carolinas, and then from there is, go down to the Caribbean, and God only knows what else happens from there. So I think he's heavily involved. I mean, I think there might be other victims out there.
Is bigger than what we ever could have imagined.
It's so scary to think about potentially other victims in the case. I wanted to talk about the defendants a bit too, though. There are so many, but something that was a pattern throughout all of this is that a lot of the men were age 63. So you compared that. They're basically senior citizens compared to her 14 years old. So I just wanted to point that out once again to anyone watching. So we have that there, which doesn't really make sense. This should have never happened, but
yeah, they are senior citizens compared to this 14-year-old. I mean, and then you got this 14-year-old child. Like,
I can understand it relatively. The one that I don't understand is this grandma who now has been arrested and she's been involved. So there's two women, and stereotypically we just see men who are involved, but now we have a couple of women who are involved too. What do you make of that?
It usually is, I mean, stereotypically speaking, it oftentimes is men dealing with trafficking, but you know what? We don't give enough attention to the fact that there's oftentimes women involved too.
Okay, Indy, have a good day.
And even if the women are not necessarily involved in the sexual acts all of the time, they can serve in different ways to try to lure a child. Women, whether we deserve it or not, are often looked upon as more trusting as men. And sometimes they're used as honeypots, if you will, or as ways to kind of build that trust. And by the way, I don't mean to discount it and say that the women also don't, deal with the sexual aspects too. We have certainly seen cases of women in sex trafficking cases and non-sex trafficking cases where they have engaged in illegal sexual acts themselves too. So I don't mean to suggest that it wouldn't happen that way either. Everybody plays their role in this scheme. And in this particular scheme, this grandmother may or may not have been involved in the violent act, but certainly it seems like there's enough evidence, at least to have arrested her, for somehow engaging in this trafficking situation, which is really unbelievable.
Just crazy to think about the vast number of people involved and the women, as you said. I wanted to talk about Emma Ray, though, because she is.
Mandy Lorian said they use women who are addicted to substances and who will do anything for a fix, and young girls will trust them. Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy, the Astro. That's very interesting.
Is the light of shining hope in all of this, that she was rescued and found safe. Her dad says she's in treatment now, which is amazing. But I do have to wonder about investigators and prosecutors, and this is why I wanted to talk to you specifically. Let's say this eventually does go to jury trial. How would prosecutors work with her if she had to testify? I mean, she's 14 years old, young kid. She maybe has to face these people in real life, face to face, and relive some of the worst weeks of her life. How would prosecutors go about preparing her for that?
And I have done this exact type of prosecution with young people as well. And I will tell you, it is very difficult for them. It is a very traumatizing experience because even before the trial, they are engaged with law enforcement and they are repeating their story to so many different people. And it's taxing, it's traumatizing, and it really requires a huge level of bravery and resilience to be able to recount those details. So on that level alone, getting her cooperation is going to be difficult because naturally it's going to be scary for her. If she has to testify, then yes, she's going to be facing her she's going to be facing her abusers, alleged abusers. And it is a very dangerous situation for her and very scary. And not only that, but she's going to be facing cross-examination from multiple lawyers. Don't forget, right? Like if there's one.
And that's going to be really bad and hard for her because those lawyers are already saying that she was there willingly. She didn't want to leave or whatever. And it's like, I mean, again, I don't care. She's a fucking 14-year-old child. Michelle said that grandma almost looks similar to the Oklahoma grandma that killed her daughter-in-law. Grandma and her 4 friends killed that poor young woman and the lady from the church that was accompanying her. Oh my God, that is awful. That's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. All the SA that poor girl face is beyond understanding. Yeah.
Person who committed the act or one
Hope you
person
feel
who's
better, Robert.
arrested and they go to trial, it's hard enough to be telling that story again and then have to face cross-examination from a defense attorney. But imagine this case goes to trial and there's a number of co-defendants in the case, each co-defendant having their own attorney. That's going to be a barrage of questions. And, you know, the purpose of those questions is to strike, to make her look like she's not credible and to make her look bad in front of a jury. And that is an extraordinarily difficult role to be in as an adult, let alone a child who was involved in a situation where they're going to try to tarnish her reputation. They're going to try to say, oh, she already had run away and she made these choices herself and she was a bad kid. And, you know, it's very hard to hear that and stand up for yourself as a child, especially.
It's just really troubling to think about something like this happening at all, let alone her having to relive it and testify. The good news, though, is that Emma Ray is safe and in recovery. Serena Townsend, thank you for coming on and explaining a bit more about the case.
Thank you so much for having me.
As for Emma Ray, her father says she's now safe and is in treatment. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Okay, so that's what I have on that case so far. Hio, what time do you, I can do it in the 25 minutes unless you want to wait longer than that. I will have to cook
if you
dinner
got to
at some
get,
point.
I was going to say, if you got to cook dinner and stuff like that, we're doing a live react. It's not like you can't stand in the kitchen with your spatula.
Yeah, so it's going to be better for you to go later because, like, I'll start cooking in like an hour and a half. So I'm going to be doing nothing for like an hour and a half.
Oh, I got nothing going on. I had it set. I kept changing it because I was like, where are they? 5:30, 4:30, your time, my time, your time. Okay, so let's do, because it is 3:00 my time now. Let's set it for 3:45 my time. So that's 4:45 your time. Is that good?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
And I'll just change this to 3:45.
Okay. So then I'll see y'all in 45 minutes over at her channel. And we're gonna react to a former cellmate of Sarah Boone's comes on and talks about being in a cell with Sarah Boone, which that should be interesting because Sarah Boone's like the ultimate Karen.
I'm excited. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are coming up with her appeal, and a lot of people are talking about her new lawyer and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but I want to talk about what we don't know about her yet. Like, we know she's going to be a Karen about the appeal. We know she's going to do things she shouldn't be doing. So let's look at somebody who's got some new stuff, some new tea to spill. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Hio's channel is pinned at the top of the chat box, so make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see y'all in 45 minutes over there. Thank you for coming up and sharing the Facebook and hanging out with me on the stream today, and thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I really appreciate you all, and I appreciate y'all watching this case with me. I found it interesting, to say the least, and I want to follow it and make sure that everything's going to be okay, and I hope that girl gets the help she needs. And major kudos to Dad. He's amazing, and I'm so glad that he was able to find his baby. With that, I will see y'all in 45 minutes. Have a good day. Stay safe. Kiss the babies. Give them hugs. And tell them you love them. Bye. Oh, nope.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. the